talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Unai Emery's brushed off that touchline push on Yuri Tielemans, saying he's my son. Former Villa keeper Mark Bosnich has told talkSPORT it was a bit out of character from Emery, but no big deal.
Sometimes when you're close to people, you tend to let your emotions go a little bit further than you normally would because you know them so well. But long term, the time you've got to worry as a player, and Razor will tell you, is when the manager ignores you completely. You can tell how much he cared about the player.
Emery's dreaming of yet another Europa League title. Villa through to the knockouts with a game to spare. Nottingham Forest, they were on the search for a striker and will almost certainly need to come through the playoffs. Forest booed off again in their loss at Braga. Newcastle are still hoping Bruno Guimaraes will be fit to face Villa on Sunday. Eddie Howe says the extent of that ankle injury is still unknown. A Leeds bid for Jorgen Strand-Larsen has been rejected. Wolves value the forward at 40 million, but would be happy to keep him till the summer. Meanwhile, it doesn't sound like Thomas Frank would be keen on losing Mickey van der Ven anytime soon.
He's fit, he's strong, good defensively, he's growing as a leader, scoring goals as well. And he's a very important player for us this season and for the future.
And we're told reports Wrexham are about to break their own transfer record on Angers striker Siddiqui Sharif are rubbish.
We're looking at lots of different players at the moment, but to say that we've launched a £92 million bid, I'm not sure that's 100% correct.
You can catch up on that chat with Wrexham director Humphrey Kerr on our YouTube channel. We've got Derby versus West Brom in the Championship live on talkSPORT 2 tonight.
talkSPORT News.
A climate report warning over mass migration and nuclear war was blocked by Number 10 because it was too negative. And the first three-way peace talks between the US, Russia and Ukraine are due to begin later. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, your go-to destination for quality tyres from great brands like Continental. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
An unsettled day, wet across Scotland, bit brighter elsewhere before more rain reaching the southwest later. Windy with coastal gales developing.
Hello, very good morning to you. You're listening to Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and the former Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT this morning. So Aston Villa, from Premier League pretenders to Europa League contenders. After claiming they're not top 5 material, can Emery steer Villa to European glory? Meanwhile, big game in the Premier League on Sunday. Arsenal hosting Michael Carrick's resurgent Reds. Should last week's performance encourage Manchester United fans or frustrate them? Does it lean into the idea of this being a little bit of a dodgy dressing room, lifting a leg when they fancy it? Also today, is Erling Haaland running on empty? Can you say with confidence Liverpool under Slot are back? And is Thomas Frank ultimately doomed at Tottenham, or did that midweek result do him the world of good? It's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, and we're live on talkSPORT. Hello, yes, welcome to Fun Boy Friday with me, FA Sam. The Saltmeister is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
You all right?
Good.
Good.
I'm fine, Fettel.
FA Sam, the Saltmeister, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Could be the start of a joke, couldn't it? A law book, a Manchester United meltdown waiting to happen, and a Villa scarf walking into the studio.
Why not? Gabby the saviour, as he was yesterday.
What could possibly go wrong?
Thank you, Crookie.
Yeah, Gabby the saviour.
I thought I'd done fantastic yesterday.
You did. Then you managed to out of him as well afterwards.
You managed to ad-lib, didn't you, as well?
Yeah.
I managed to read the words and get them out, a bit slowly.
This is when Alan had a little bit of a wobble on air, had to go off, and you had to take over.
Yes, Alan was feeling a bit dizzy, but he's a lot better now.
Which is good news.
Which is great news.
Our best wishes to him.
And had to do a little bit myself. A little interview with Sam Allardyce, which was good. And then Katie come in and we had a good interview with Vinnie Jones, legend of a guy.
Good. And is it true that you walked outside with a piece of paper and asked him to sign over his property?
Who, Alan?
Yeah.
I might have done that. Yeah.
Did he take it well?
Yeah, he had a little giggle while he was struggling. I asked him, can you fancy signing over the apartment in Canary Wharf for me? And he didn't find it too funny.
Big games everywhere this weekend. None bigger than Arsenal against Manchester United. But just a warning, by the way, if you are going to phone in today, if you think United's defence is fragile, you should hear Alex's temper when someone questions his red credentials. So just be careful, because last week you had a bit of an episode, didn't you? Have you got over it?
Bit of a boxing match, and the common consensus, I think, is that I won on points.
It's in the past, isn't it?
I won on points.
That's not what you said at the weekend.
It was 50-50. I won on points. I landed the big blows.
Let's talk about Aston Villa. Villa qualified for the last 16, but all the headlines actually about Emery and Tielemans having a spat on the sidelines. Emery was not happy. Actually, he was about as happy as Crookie was with James last week. But unlike...
Is that his name?
Crookie and James, they kissed, hugged and made up in the dressing room. Was it a bit of a much ado about nothing, actually?
It just shows his passion. It's probably something silly, but I just loved his interview afterwards. He's my son, no problem. I can imagine Tielemans feels the same. There was an image of Tielemans walking into the dressing room and he was buzzing still. He reminds me a bit of Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill would have done that to me and I wouldn't have took offence. He's like a dad figure to the players. So no problems at all.
So he gave quite a good interview to the afterwards. He's quite good in victory, Unai Emery. He's not quite so good in defeat.
No.
Oh, this is because Crookie had an episode with him on Sunday when we went to Villa Park.
Did you, Crookie?
Well, no, he went all... No episode, to be fair, but he went all Ange Postecoglou. Looked at the floor for the entirety of the interview, one word
But
answers.
don't you like that in the sense of, like, he's so angry at losing? Amorim was doing interviews and he was giggling after losses.
Yeah, true.
Well, he walked out of the Villa press room and he went to me, he's such a bad loser, isn't he?
No, but he's done a fantastic job so far this season, and I just loved his will to win. You know, the passion with Tielemans just shows how much he wants to win a trophy with this Aston Villa side.
Great news for Villa. They are through, but they were a little bit wasteful with their finishing.
Yes.
There was a little bit of nervousness, wasn't there, when Arkatoğlu put the ball in the back of the net and it was ruled out for offside?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Andy Townsend's punditry on talkSPORT too, and I think he was disappointed that Fenerbahce didn't take the game a little bit more to Villa, maybe showed them too much respect. And I think there's been a theme of this week in Europe. You know, you've looked at the Champions League results, Arsenal making 7 changes and still going away and beating a team top of Serie A in their own backyard. Liverpool not having a great season, have absolutely thrashed the third best team in France. Tottenham 14th in the Premier League, beat the team second in the Bundesliga, and Villa have gone to Fenerbahce, which usually would be quite a hostile environment. They've obviously got some highly paid players on their books, the likes of Asensio and John Duran, and
Ederson.
And they've rolled them over as well. So I think what we've seen in Europe, City and Nottingham Forest aside, is just how powerful the Premier League is.
Absolutely.
I had to contact Tyrone Mings to see if he'd let Duran out his pocket. It was that easy for him, yeah.
Did he?
He was very good last night, Tyrone Mings.
Well, it's a welcome return, actually, for Tyrone Mings, especially bearing in mind the injuries that they've got, although not now in the central defensive area because Pau Torres is back. He was rested last night, so was Ezri Konsa, which is good. But winning trophies is what Unai Emery really wants to do, because despite being the 7th most successful team in terms of trophies, they haven't won one, Aston Villa, since 1996. But Emery said last night he's dreaming of European glory.
We have a clear objective in this competition, is to be contender for a trophy, to be contender in case winning this trophy. Next year you are playing in Champions League, and through our league is very difficult because we have a lot of teams contender more than us to be there. And of course I am here with Aston Villa dreaming to get trophies, and through Europa League or Champions League or Conference League, through Europe is one objective. To get another way with those experiences, being strong and competing until the last moment. And of course I am dreaming to be here getting trophies, and Europa League is one objective we have this year.
Comfortably third in the Premier League, but yet the manager keeps ruling out any sort of sustained challenge because he says they can't keep going with the league form. I think he said last night, actually, we want to be a contender in case we need this trophy to play in the Champions League next year. Through our league, it's very difficult. I mean, it doesn't look very difficult for them at the moment because they're so far ahead in third, and with 5th place almost guaranteed to be a Champions League place, why does he keep ruling it out?
I think if you look at the table, Manchester United, their performance, Crook will probably go into detail about how good they were for the first time
It's 8 points, that's a big gap to make up.
Yeah, 8 points is a big gap, but then Chelsea, 9 points off Villa. But there's some big games coming for Villa. A tough game on the weekend, Newcastle away. I think it's 17 games, Newcastle unbeaten against Villa at St James's Park. Kamara's a big, big blow.
Yes, huge.
Every Villa fans couldn't believe the news of him being out for the season. John McGinn's injuries, the problems with Aston Villa bringing in players. Tammy Abraham's not over the line yet, losing Marlon. So, yes, it's a nice lead at the moment, but you lose a couple in a row, and then that comes down to 2 points.
I've got a question for you as an Aston Villa fan, obviously club legend as well. When should Unai Emery start to take a leaf out the Ange Postecoglou playbook and prioritise the Europa League? Because you look at the top 8 as it stands.
Is that what he was hinting at last night?
Well, yeah, possibly. And what's more important for Villa, to finish in the top 4 or to win a trophy? Because if you win the Europa League, obviously the end goal is the same, isn't it?
Europa
You've got a
League.
place in the Champions League.
Give me an FA Cup over top 4.
Really?
Every day of the week, yeah. Because
But Europa League gets you both.
I know, yeah. Well, the FA Cup would be amazing.
So would you take the FA Cup over the Europa League?
No, I'll take Europa League over the FA Cup because you're winning a trophy. But if worst case scenario was the FA Cup you won, fantastic. Been too long. 1996 is crazy. 30 years last time Villa won a trophy.
And a couple of finals along the way.
Yes. I lost a couple as well, but we won't go into that.
Michael Owen?
Yeah, or Vidic not getting sent off, but we won't go into the decisions against Aston Villa in the last 30, 40 years. But I just look at Aston Villa and I look at the gap they've got now between themselves and Manchester United and Chelsea. And they can rest players next week, Crookie, next Thursday, because they're guaranteed top 8, so you can rotate.
Well, that's important, isn't it? Because Emi Martinez is out, Captain John McGinn is out, Boubacar Kamara, you've already mentioned. Onana got to rest last night, so did Konza and Pau.
He's so important, Sam. Onana being
the bench
fit
was
is so
full
important.
of kids.
Yeah. We need Onana, because he's been quite injury-prone since he joined Aston Villa. Onana, he needs to keep fit for the rest of the season, because that midfield's very light. Bogard is an okay player, he's a squad player. Hemmings is a good young player that's coming through. Yeah, they like him a lot. Jadon Sancho was fantastic last night, Crookie. Manchester United's loss.
Yeah.
Aston Villa's gain.
How many good games has he had for Aston Villa? Out of interest.
What in terms of transfer activity, where are we with Aston Villa?
Well, I think midfield has become one of the priorities now. Obviously, having lost Kamara for the season, which I agree with Gab, I think that's a huge blow. We don't know when John McGinn will be fit either. There's been talk with Ruben Loftus-Cheek and with AC Milan about a potential loan deal. But they're still up top, aren't they? They're still too reliant on Ollie Watkins. The Tammy Abraham saga seems to be a bit complicated in that you've got Roma, who are his parent club at Besiktas, I think are claiming they've already triggered an obligation to make him a permanent Besiktas player. So I think that's where the complication is. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, I know you've got mixed views on that one, Gabby, for a player who's going to cost £40 million, not in the first flush of youth. He wants big wages as well.
He's not going to start.
He does miss a lot of chances, Mateta, doesn't he?
And he's not going to start. I mean, I like him, but the wages you're talking about, Crookie, maybe £150,000 a week. Villa have got to be careful with what they're giving out as wages as well. So I'm not sure that's a deal that I'll go for.
But if you want to play in the Champions League and you want to compete on all 4 fronts, at the moment they're competing in the Premier League, the Europa League and the FA Cup. There's going to be enough games. And he does like to rotate Watkins
of course. Of course, yeah. But like Crookie says, is he looking now and saying, I've got to put some money aside for a midfielder as well? Douglas Luiz is one that they're looking at bringing back.
I think he's going to end up at Chelsea.
But Chelsea will probably be preferred club for him. So you've got to try and work out what positions are more important. Another winger for me as well. Leon Bailey's come back, but there's a reason why he went to Roma, because he wasn't doing it. Jadon Sancho, jokes aside, looked very good last night. That's one game all season he's looked good in. So can he continue to do better?
Okay, question then for the Aston Villa fans. Despite the fact that they're 7th most successful club in history in terms of trophies, none since 1996. So is it time now for Villa to start prioritising the Europa League above everything else? Is that what you want? 03717 22 3344. And what did you make of that Unai Emery Tielemans spat? Does it just show you how competitive the manager is? Or does it hint that actually he's getting a little bit frustrated? 03717 22 3344. It's Fun Boy Friday with Alex Crook, Gabby Agbonlahor and me, Sam Matterface. And by the way, we do cover all 20 Premier League games and Premier League clubs on this show. Gabby does Villa, and Alex and I try to squeeze in the other 90. We're here right the way through till 1 o'clock with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com. weekend, mammoth weekend of football and tennis as well, because we've got Australian Open going on. Cam Norrie in action as we speak. Toby Gillies is watching for talkSPORT. What's the latest?
Well, out of nowhere, Cam Norrie has the second set at 5-4, 30 all on. Zverev's serve, something of a Yorker of a return by the Briton, straight through the German's racket on the baseline and dominated the next point thanks to a power return and suddenly 1 set all. But the start of the third set hasn't gone well for him. Both holding serve initially. A wild game, though, from Norrie in the third of the set. Means he gave up serve to 15. Suddenly, Zverev is back in control. It is 40-30 on Zverev's serve as he tries to back it up. Over on Rod Laver Arena, the Australian 6th seed, Alex de Minaur, is 2 sets and a break-up on the American Francis Tiafoe. He does look to be cruising through.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
John Kelly says, last time Villa qualified for the Champions League, Gabby, Kamara missed the second half of the season. If we're smart, we can sign a couple of decent players and have a good go at both the league and Europe. Unai is God, and we can beat the top 6 PSR scam up the Villa, says John from Worcester. Morning, lads. I'm a bit old school. If over the next 5 years Villa won 3 cups, FA Cup, League Cup, doesn't matter, top 8 finishes, being competitive would do me. The way PSR is, just create some winning memories, days at Wembley, etc., etc. That's Andy, the Villa fan.
It's not just PSR, is it, when it comes to Villa? It's obviously the UEFA financial regulations. They've been punished for breaching those before, haven't they? So I think it's a combination of the two.
I think even the players, Morgan Rogers done an interview a couple of weeks ago. He got asked, win the FA Cup or finish in the top 4. He said, win the FA Cup. He said, I've finished in the top 4 before.
Where did that come from? Did you get told to say that?
He knows his stuff, Alex. Leave him alone, Sam.
No. We won't talk about Aston Villa decisions in the last 30 years. They are only in the Premier League because of goal line technology not working.
That's very true. Was it Sheffield United that first game back?
What was that?
COVID?
I don't remember.
Of course you don't.
You'd have gone down and Bournemouth would have stayed up.
Yeah.
The electric was off, mate.
Did you write to Howard about that one? Did you speak to him this week?
No. I didn't make it.
He was in.
You was in.
I bottled it, didn't I?
So Howard Webb came in, you were giving it the whole large let me get in, I'll make sure I speak to him, and then you didn't turn up.
I didn't want to get in trouble with what was going to come out of my mouth, so I decided to stay.
Did the bosses tell you not to go?
Yeah.
So you bottled it, basically.
But they did ask, and he said he read the letter, and they'll be replying to me.
Did he?
Yes.
Was he laughing at the same time? I think he probably was. Nottingham Forest look almost certain to require a playoff to extend their run in the Europa League after defeating Portugal. Conditions were absolutely terrible in this game. The first half was tepid. They hit the bar. Nottingham Forest, Olena with a brilliant shot, missed the penalty, forced Braga keeper into several saves in the second half, but Elliot Anderson being sent off late on in the game sort of compounded a miserable night. What went wrong? You did the game live?
Well, I don't think the conditions helped, but he made 7 changes, Sean Dyche. You can understand it because they've got a massive game in the Premier League against Brentford this weekend. But whenever he's rotated this season, it's not really worked, has it? He was quite scathing of the squad players after they were knocked out the FA Cup at Wrexham. And I've got to say the likes of James McAtee in particular didn't cover themselves in any glory last night. They had to play with a combination of Morgan Gibbs-White and Dan Ndoye as a false number 9 because Igor Jesus is injured. And it is difficult at the moment to see where the goals are coming from. And when Sean Dyche went in there, they had that initial uplift post-Ange Postecoglou. And I think we all felt, well, they're going to pull away from relegation now. But it's not really worked out that way, has it? And if West Ham do beat Sunderland, the game you're covering tomorrow, they could be just 2 points clear of the bottom 3 by the time they kick off against Brentford on Sunday. And it's 1 win in 8 now for Forest. And they're struggling to create chances from open play.
Well, it was interesting, actually. John Percy in The Telegraph wrote in his report this morning that they had the cutting edge of a plastic spatula, which has been the problem over the course of the last few weeks. I wonder whether or not Evangelos Marinakis will be a little perturbed that he spent £200 million on new talent over the course of the summer and that his team have stuttered. Does the responsibility lie with the manager, with him, because of bungled managerial appointments, or because of the fact the recruitment wasn't good enough? What do you think?
I think some of the recruitment was wrong. I mean, I rate McAtee. I think he's a very good player.
It's not worked for him,
is
though,
he
is
a
it?
Forest player? He's not a Sean Dyche player. Hutchinson, not really worked either. Very good player at his time at Ipswich, but these two players haven't worked. They really miss Chris Wood, don't they?
Yeah.
He was a vocal point of what they've done well under Nuno Santo. But goal scoring, like you said, Crookie, only 21 Premier League goals. Wolves are the lowest with 15. Then Nottingham Forest, 21 goals in 22 games. Not good enough. And that game, West Ham versus Sunderland, I fancy West Ham to get a win. I really do.
Do you?
Yes, the confidence from the Spurs game. And they're playing a day before Forest. Forest away to Brentford. Tough game. Brentford are flying. It's down to 2 points. Then you're like, ooh, okay, game on.
And he's not going to put up with that, is he, Marinakis?
No way.
Yeah, but you can't have 4 managers in one season.
Well, I'm not saying he's going to sack the manager, but he's not going to stomach a relegation fight, is he?
Well, they're in one, and
no choice.
And they're in one because of him. Because of the fallout with him and Nuno at the start of the season. I am seeing a lot of disgruntled Nottingham Forest fans not enjoying the style of play under Sean Dyche, not enjoying the fact they're not really creating too many goal-scoring opportunities. But they've got an unwanted headache now. They're going to have to play an extra 2 games. I think it's almost impossible for Forest to get in the top 8. Mathematically, they can still do it, but they need all the teams above them to slip up. And you look at Real Betis, they've got Feyenoord, who are already out. I think Porto are at home to Rangers, who are already out. One of those two will win, and therefore whatever Forest do at home to Ferencváros next week, it's going to be the playoffs.
And the fans were booing last night, weren't they? And they were singing "What the is all that," weren't they, during the game? So they weren't particularly enamoured, and quite a lot of them have made a huge effort to get over there. In fact, they outnumbered the Braga fans, and some of them even become Braga members to get tickets in the home end.
Yeah, because it's a dream, isn't it? I know a few Nottingham Forest fans, and they're like, I'm going to every game in the Europa League. It's a dream come true, getting to play European football, such a historic club. But when you look at that squad of players, yes, some of the signings haven't worked, but they should be nowhere near where they are in the Premier League.
No.
They've got a very talented
They got off to a terrible start.
How good were their defence the last couple of seasons? Murillo, Milenkovic, Aina, and Nico Williams. But this season, look a bit light, don't they? Seems too easy to get chances against Nottingham Forest.
He made a big impact when he came in. They beat Porto in his first game, Sean Dyche. They went on to win 4 of his first 8 matches in charge. In fact, they ended up winning 7 of the first 12 matches in charge. But it has been a little bit of an issue since the middle of December. So it hasn't even really been a month since they started having that blip. But the blip has coincided with the fact that they just stopped scoring goals. Lorenzo Luca from Napoli is about to come in as their striker. Understand he's having a medical today. They want to try and get that over the line before midday so he's ready to play on Sunday for them. He's 6'7". He's absolutely massive. He's over 2 meters tall. He is a target man. He thrives on crosses and direct service into the box. Sounds a little bit Chris Wood-like, which is exactly what they want. Will that make a massive difference?
I don't know. He got more headed goals in Serie A than any other forward last season. I know you'll point out the fact he's not played many minutes this season, but he's only scored 1 goal. I think it's a big step from Serie A to a relegation fight in the Premier League. And I wonder, without Elanga, have Forest got the players who can supply that type of ammunition? Hudson-Odoi is not really that type of winger who gets the byline and crosses and he likes to cut inside.
Do you swap over and say Hudson-Odoi on that right-hand side gets the byline, get crosses in? Hutchinson on the left-hand side gets the byline, get crosses in. Because everyone plays on the opposite side nowadays and you like to cut back. I played left wing and you really don't use your left, cut back and then striker's made a run. Not gonna get the right delivery.
14 goals in 36 matches when he was at Udinese last season. This season, after the big move, it's 13 appearances, 4 starts, 346 minutes in Serie A. It's not been great. He's only got 1 league goal. But will he be reborn as the striker? Or, as Gabby Agbonlahor said earlier on, the vocal point of the Forest attack. Had a few texts.
He's a good talker.
Simon from Warrington says, haha, did Gabby just say Chris Wood was the vocal point? Get the producers to replay it. I'm sure it's supposed to be focal point, Gab, isn't it? 03717 2233 44 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. 81089 on the text if you want to talk about Aston Villa and their ambitions for the season. Should they be prioritising the Europa League now? And Nottingham Forest, what's the current state of play? What are you feeling about the way things are going? Because it could be a pivotal weekend for you with a big game against Brentford away on Sunday and West Ham playing Sunderland live on talkSPORT tomorrow. It's not the only game that's live on talkSPORT this week, Ken, because we've got the South Coast derby between Portsmouth and Southampton, which is absolutely massive on Sunday as well. This is talkSPORT.
might not fancy Villa's Premier League top 5 chances, but Unai Emery is dreaming of yet another Europa League title.
We can feel here in this competition. We are trying to get another way with those experiences, being strong and competing until the last moment. And of course, I am dreaming to be here getting trophies, and Europa League is one objective we have this year.
The win in Fenerbahce sees Villa through to the knockouts with a game to spare. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest are looking for another striker. The injured Igor Jesus missed the defeat at Braga, which leaves Forest 15th in the table and facing a February playoff. Now, it doesn't sound like Thomas Frank would be keen on losing Mickey van der Ven anytime soon.
He's fit, he's strong, good defensively, he's growing as a leader, scoring goals as well. And he's a very important player for us this season and for the future.
That's after we heard Spurs had slapped a £100 million price tag on Big Mickey. We understand, meanwhile, that the Saudi Pro League bosses are planning a big summer transfer blitz to boost the competition's profile. Mo Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Vinny Jr. and Robert Lewandowski are all wanted, but we're told reports Wrexham are about to break their own transfer record to sign Angers striker Siddiqui Sharif are rubbish.
Yeah, we're looking at lots of different players at the moment, but yeah, to say that we've launched a £92 million bid, I'm not sure that's 100% correct.
You can catch up on that chat with Wrexham director Humphrey Kerr on our YouTube channel, and we've got Derby versus West Brom in the Championship live on talkSPORT 2 tonight.
It's talkSPORT. It's Sam Matterface with Gabby Agbonlahor, Alex Crook, and Emma Kerwin, who's obviously very hungry. Give me rice. Bruno, give me rice. Is that right?
I'm so sorry.
Don't apologise to us. Are you just hungry? Do we need to get you some food or something?
I am.
We have had an incident of someone having low blood sugar this week. We don't want to go down that road again, do we, Gab? No, we don't want Gab reading the news.
When Gab is trying to correct your pronunciations, you are in a world of trouble.
But because Gab is the vocal point, do you want to do it?
No, I'm trying to sort out my wire here.
No, just explain what it is. It's Bruno. What is it?
I don't know.
Come on, just say it.
I don't know, mate.
Say it.
No idea.
Actually, he won't say it because you know when you walked off,
Yeah.
it was even worse.
We're in it together.
Sorry, Emma. We shouldn't be highlighting.
Give me rice, isn't it? Give me rice.
Give me rice. Bruno, give me rice.
This week's been a week of fails.
Has it?
That's all I know.
I'm sure it's.
Don't be silly.
Thank you very much. We'll see you. We see you in an hour.
Yes, I'll do better.
Okay, you just
go and get that Jaeger bomb.
Don't make private conversations public. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm personally dreading the Manchester United discussion this morning. Please stop calling them United. This isn't the Goldbridge podcast. It turns out you can play like it's 1995 and completely outplay Manchester City whilst playing 4-4-2. Love the show. Essential Friday morning listening. West Ham United fan and looking forward to seeing us beat Sunderland tomorrow. We're going there tomorrow. It's live on talkSPORT at 12:30. Let's have a quick word on Manchester United because they play this weekend away at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta's team 7 points clear at the top of the table. They're 6-1 on favourites to reclaim their first Premier League title since 2003-2004. What sort of game are we expecting, Gabby? Because Arsenal won't play into the hands of Manchester United like Manchester City did last season with last week with that high line and one in midfield. They're not going to do that, are they?
No, they're not. I do think Manchester United will put up a good performance. I think he'll stick with the same team. I do think Cunha will have to maybe sit on the bench again, which he won't be happy about. But I just look at Arsenal's strengths. I look at Trossard will start. I think Saka will be back in the starting lineup. But will it be Gyökeres or Gabriel Jesus? That's the question, because Gyökeres scored a great goal against Inter Milan, but his overall game, I'm not sure about.
I did that game for talkSPORT, and Gabriel Jesus, with his movement, caused the Inter defenders a lot more problems than Gyökeres did, even though Gyökeres obviously has scored that goal at the end. If I was a Manchester United defender, I think I'd rather play against Gyökeres than I would against Gabriel Jesus. So it is a bit of a conundrum for Mikel Arteta. But listen, United's record at the Emirates, apart from that FA Cup win last season, is dreadful. So most United fans are going there expecting a defeat. But certainly there's a little bit more confidence in terms of how competitive they can be after last weekend.
Michael Carrick left out Benjamin Šeško and Cunha last week. Who comes back?
I agree with Gabby. I think why fix what isn't broken? I think it'll be the same team again. I think this Arsenal defence, if you're gonna trouble them, I think it's going to be all about clever movement and a bit of pace. So I would stick with it.
I think as well, you look at Dorgu on that left-hand side, playing in front of Luke Shaw, perfect for a game against Saka. Give Luke Shaw help defensively, which Dorgu can do, and he's a threat going forward as well with his pace.
This will probably come back to haunt me on Sunday. But I don't think Saka is having a stellar season by his standards.
Yeah. Well, I think the numbers would probably lend itself to that. I mean, it took him until the middle of November, didn't it, to get a first Premier League assist of the season. That came down at Stamford Bridge for that Marino goal.
Can definitely do better.
Has been suffering with injury. It has taken him a little while to
get
get
fatigue
going.
as well. Maybe as a result of the fact he's played so much football over the last few years.
Possibly. And the other thing is that it's a different striker, isn't it? He's aiming at someone completely different in the middle now, and Gyökeres is not making the kind of movements that they're used to. They're still coming to terms with that. Casemiro leaving at the end of the season after a big pay packet over the course of the last few years. Has that move worked out for Manchester United?
Gab's got quite strong views on this, so I'll let him take.
I think Casemiro joined. Was it 29 when he joined roughly? £60 million fee, 15 million over the last 4 years. You're talking an investment of 120 million. It hasn't worked. It really hasn't. And Real Madrid must have been laughing when they got 60 million and his wages off their books. Casemiro, legendary player, for Real Madrid, but his legs have gone since he joined Man United. It's been too easy, far too easy for midfielders and number 10s to get the opposite side of him, run past him. Don't get me wrong, he scored some really good goals and his passing's very good, but I don't think it's been a success for Manchester United with that investment.
He has been really important to them this season, though, hasn't he? The statistics for when he's in the team and when he's not in the team, completely different. I think he had a bad season last year, but ultimately he's come up with some big moments for Manchester United.
Yeah, he looked out of shape last year, and obviously came back this summer and looked like he'd lost a little bit of weight and looked a lot sharper and fitter. And I agree. I think they've relied upon him at times, but I see where Gab is coming from. And actually, I remember I was at Old Trafford the night that he was introduced to the fans on the pitch, and it was before they beat Liverpool, Erik ten Hag's first win, if I recall. And I was in Hotel Football. Gary Neville was doing a Q&A, and there were protests going on outside the ground against the Glazers. And he described it in this Q&A, Gary Neville, as a Boris Johnson-style distraction technique by unveiling Casemiro, a multi-Champions League winner, a Brazilian international, on the pitch. It was almost like saying, well, look, stop your protests. Here's our gift to you. And I sort of saw where he was coming from at the time. I agree with Gabs that probably they signed Casemiro 5 years past his pomp. There's a reason why Real Madrid let him go. But in terms of his character, in terms of his attitude, I don't really think he can be questioned. And he has come up with some big moments as well. He scored in that League Cup final against Newcastle to deliver the first trophy under Erik ten Hag. Obviously played in the FA Cup final as well and was a key part of the win over Manchester City. It was his cross that Harry Maguire headed in against Lyon in that remarkable Europa League game. So I wouldn't say, to use Gab's words, it's been a disaster. But in terms of an outlay, if you spent 120 million quid, they probably...
disaster, did I, Sam?
Well, you did outside.
Oh, we're repeating combos. What's going on?
He doesn't like that usually, does he?
What I was going to say is, at the time, they should have just put the money down for Declan Rice, and obviously that would have been much more of a long-term investment.
But is that just indicative of what Manchester United have been doing over the course of the last 5-6 years, which is not buying people at the top of their career, but almost as they were going over the edge of it?
Yeah, and I just look at that defensive midfield role, and I look at...
It's been neglected at Old Trafford.
I look at Kamara for Villa. I look at Rodri, who will come on to later, has been poor since injury. But Gravenberch, Rice, Caicedo, Newcastle, you can have Tonali playing there, Zubimendi. I just look at Ugarte, not good enough at all for the Premier League, never mind Manchester United.
Hasn't got the mobility.
But Casemiro hasn't got the mobility that all the players I've read out have got. If they can sort that position out, Elliot Anderson might be an option in the summer with what's going on at Nottingham Forest. But Manchester United should have a top number 6 who can get around the pitch.
Well, they could have signed Caicedo for a very minimal fee before he went to Brighton. They pulled out because the deal was too complicated. There were too many third parties involved.
Well, they're interested in Elliot Anderson, Belieber and Adam Wharton, and they're likely to get 2 of those, we're told. But how have they got the money? Bearing in mind this time last year we were being told that the cash was going to run out at Old Trafford. How have they got the money to outlay on those players when they're going to command probably around £200 million put together?
Yeah, you'd have thought so. If they're going to take 2 of them, it would be that kind of outlay. I mean, Casemiro's wages off the books will be a big thing. They're going to get some money for Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho and Rashford's wages also off the payroll. So there is some cash to be freed up. You wonder about Bruno Fernandes. We know he has a release clause that a European club can trigger. Do they decide to cash in on their captain to strengthen that key area of the pitch? I wouldn't necessarily be in favour of that. I think, again, you saw in the Manchester derby just how good a player Bruno Fernandes is with his range of passing, the way that he can split the lines. And I think if you put proper players around him in that midfield, he'll only get better.
100%. And the protection, isn't it? They're not missing a lot, Manchester United. Fernandes, Mainu, but who's the sitter? Ugarte and Casemiro, bye-bye.
Who would you go for out of the 3? Because I'm probably putting Elliot Anderson at the top.
Yeah, I will go for Elliot Anderson. I love Wharton, but Wharton's not a player who's going to be around the pitch getting the ball back. He's very good on the ball, isn't he? But you've got
he passes the ball
Mainu,
forward first
you've got
time.
Fernandes. Do they need Wharton? Need someone who can get around the pitch and break up play. Get the ball to
been
Fernandes.
poor whenever I've seen him for Brighton this season. He
came off the bench on Monday night and he was absolutely terrific. He changed the game.
What about centre half though for Manchester United? Right back. Dalot can't be your right back again next season.
And they're not going to play Martinez and Maguire together every week, are
exactly.
Well, Maguire's out of contract. And, I'd imagine I know conversations are taking place with him about bringing his wages down so that they're more affordable. So it's going to be another big summer for Manchester United. I still think they need a midfielder in this window. Obviously, they're not going to get one of the big 3 that we talked about, but just in terms of another option for Michael Carrick, because there's 16 games to go now. It looks like a shootout between United, Chelsea and Liverpool for 4th and 5th place. You think?
On a second. Aston Villa, the manager says that Aston Villa are going to struggle to finish in the top 5.
There's better contenders.
Villa will finish in the top 3. So I think it is all about 4th and 5th. You think 5th will be enough to get Champions League football? Yes. So with 16 games to go, I just
don't forget Newcastle.
I feel like United got to do something.
Don't forget Newcastle.
I think their away form is too inconsistent.
Well, you never know.
Aren't you Eddie Howe's good friend?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Eddie Howe, but I think it's a 3-horse race.
Nick says Gabby has got such a weird obsession with Manchester United.
Oh,
very odd.
Because they ruined your career.
Bear in mind that Villa are only one managerial sacking away from mid-table nonsense again. Keep right on. Daz says, can you apologise to Gabby for me on behalf of all Manchester United fans for ruining his football career and childhood? He clearly hates Manchester United. He doesn't stop going on about them. 03717 223344. We'll take your WhatsApps on the big game of the weekend. Let's go off to the tennis. Tubby Gillis has got details of what's happening at the Australian Open.
And I'm afraid to say that Cam Norrie has lost the 3rd set by 6-3 to Alexander Zverev, the 3rd seed. A sloppy set, really, by the Briton, whose enthusiasm seems to mix with kind of overdoing it each time he spies any sort of opportunity. A huge disappointment compounded by a double fault to secure it for the German. And the 3rd seed is just 1 set away from seeing off the Briton for the 7th time in 7 meetings. Early stages now of the 4th set. It needs a bit of a miracle for Norrie to turn this round.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
trip to South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
England returns to South Africa next winter, and as always, the Barmy Army will be out there in full force, and this time you could be as well. We're giving away a week for two at the 2027 New Year's Eve test in Cape Town. Every day of the match at one of the world's greatest cricket grounds with flights, hotel and spending money all covered. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. That's 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 418 7260. Lines close 6th of February 2026 at 4 p.m. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's are available at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN now to 83338. Morning, boys. Enjoying the show. Marinakis is going to get his just desserts. Nuno will keep West Ham up, and Forest will succumb to relegation. Perfect example of careful what you wish for, says one texter. Billy says, it's so easy now, Gab, for Premier League teams to win this downgraded Europa League. It barely counts. The new of the Champions League teams not dropping down have made it far too easy. Actually, it will be a failure if Villa don't win it.
That's very harsh. Some top teams in it. Lyon, outstanding football club. Roma.
Hold on. In the break, didn't he just get their list out and go, who's going to beat them?
Listen, it's still difficult. You know, there's top teams still in it, but I do agree it's definitely easier to win it now. Look at the final last year. Manchester United were a joke last year. So were Spurs, and they played in the final, which was probably the worst final you would have seen in a European tournament for years.
I think it's almost inexcusable for an English team to be in the Europa League and not go deep in the draw and get to the final and probably win it.
Mm.
Can I just say something
on the
as well?
basis of the finances that they've got in comparison 100%. To everybody else.
Sam, can I just say something to some of the messages you're getting on Manchester United fans? I have no problem with Manchester United.
You do a little bit.
They have been terrible for years. What we can't call it out.
No, but you do enjoy it a little bit too much.
Also, hold on a minute. Listen, terrible's a big word, isn't it? Yes, they've not hit their high standards. They've been in 9 finals in 10 years. They've won trophies, Gabs. You just mentioned the last time Villa won a trophy was 1996.
Yeah, but that's Aston Villa.
Yeah, but most football fans in the country would take their team being terrible if they got to that many finals.
Well done, Gabby. You've got him to
we're Aston Villa. You're talking about Manchester United.
You're former European champions.
Yeah, but I was playing in the Premier League where Manchester United, season after season, fighting for the Premier League. Now we're talking about them finishing 15th.
Yeah, but nothing lasts forever, Gabs. Nothing lasts forever.
They have let themselves
go. And
I'll
tell you what,
haven't they?
They won't finish 15th again. I mean, again, Ruben Amorim should have been fired for finishing 15th and losing that final. He shouldn't have started the season.
Being sacked.
No, I moaned about a lack of a plan.
Oh, okay.
03717 223344. Manchester United do play Arsenal. There is another team in the game.
Come on, Arsenal.
By the way, Arsenal looking to continue their great run at home, but they have drawn the last 2 in the Premier League, although they managed to get their goal-scoring boots on in midweek. Does Arteta persevere with Gyökeres up front, Gabby, after midweek when he scored, or Gabriel Jesus?
Listen, Gyökeres, like I said earlier, fantastic finish from Gyökeres against Inter Milan, bent it into the top corner, but 9 goals in 27, he's okay for his first season in the Premier League so far, but he's got to do a bit more. But when I watch him, Sam and Alex, I don't know if he's got that bit more. He hasn't got that yard of pace to sort of create his own goals at times, where maybe a Haaland has and other strikers have. Gabriel Jesus had looked sharp. And I look at how Haaland played against Manchester United last weekend. Maguire loved it. A striker up against him, physical. And I think you'll get the better of Gyökeres as well. Gabriel Jesus, more clever, or Marino coming off, leaving Maguire and Martinez with maybe no one to mark. I think that would be a better option for Arsenal.
He's sprinkled his goals throughout the course of the season, hasn't he, Victor Gyökeres? Whereas last season, when he was at Sporting Lisbon, the season before, he was absolutely ripping it
different league
up. But it is a very different level of opposition that he is facing. Is there not a sort of case for Gabriel Jesus to be given an opportunity and make a first Premier League start since coming back from his injury?
I think there's a massive case for that. And actually, since he came back, it was away in Europe. I seem to recall that he made his comeback. He's looked sharp, Jesus, and he moves defenders around. He links up the play probably better than Gyökeres does. There are times when Gyökeres goes long periods without getting a touch of the ball, let alone an opportunity to score. So I agree with Gabby. I think if you gave Harry Maguire the choice, would he rather be up against the physical, maybe slightly immobile Victor Gyökeres or a Gabriel Jesus who's going to try and give him the run around, I think you take Gyökeres every day of the week.
It'd be interesting to see how they operate, won't it? Because one of the things that they've done is control a lot of games, suffocate teams with possession, keep them camped into their own half, make sure that they can't get out. Have Manchester United got the tools to deal with that?
Well, I look at Manchester United against Manchester City, and they were so good at getting back behind the ball. Yes, Manchester City were moving the ball too slow, but Mainoo was getting back, Dorgu was getting back, Diallo was getting back, doubling up. I think Manchester United try and frustrate Arsenal.
But you can't see Arsenal failing to move that ball around as fast as Manchester City did. Last week it was a bit too slow, a bit tepid, whereas with Arsenal, when they get, especially at home, they do move you around. They're almost impossible.
100%, but I don't see a game where Arsenal thump Manchester United. I think they wear them down and find a way to score maybe 1 or 2 goals, but I don't see it as a one-sided game at all.
They weren't great, were they, on the opening day of the season at Old Trafford, Arsenal, but they still found a way to win by a goal to 0. And for as well as United played that day, David Raya didn't have a stack full of saves to make it. It might be quite a similar game. I think midfield is key, actually. We talked about the battle at the top end of the pitch, but you look at Arsenal's strength this season, that combination of Rice, Zubimendi and Ødegaard has been absolutely key to any success they've had. And can United, with Mainoo and Casemiro in there and maybe Bruno Fernandes having to drop a little bit deeper, can they combat that area of the pitch?
I'm just not, if you're Arsenal defensively, you're not scared of Manchester United's pace.
If you're Arsenal defensively, you're not scared of anybody.
No, but what I'm saying is you're not scared of Mbeumo like Manchester City were. You're not scared of Diallo on the counter-attack or Dorgu, because you've got Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. You could play Lewis Skelly at left back, or you could play Ben White right back, Timber left back. You've got so many options of quick players. Arsenal will play in the Manchester United half, and I'm sure they break them down over 90 minutes.
I mean, the fact that Arsenal managed to get as many goals as they did in midweek, despite the fact they're playing against a team who usually are so resolutely defensive, and a team that were the Champions League finalists, by the way, last year, gives an indication that they are ready to bare their teeth against Manchester United this week. They rested a few of their stars as well. That's 4:30. Do you want to come with me to that game?
Not really, but I'll be there. No, listen, I am more optimistic, but United's record there is so bad.
Chrissy says, just a reminder to Gabs, in the Premier League era, Spurs have won more trophies, more top 4 finishes than Aston Villa, and they've got a much bigger fan base. And in the Deloitte latest largest clubs in the world list, Spurs are 9th.
Can I say one thing to him? Champions League game, midweek, 10,000 empty seats at the Spurs Stadium. That says it all about your fan base.
Haven't Leicester won more major trophies in the Premier League era than Villa?
Have Leicester won the European Cup?
You weren't even born when Villa did that.
I was close.
Didier Drogba only scored 10 league goals in his first Premier League season when Chelsea won the league. Look what an incredible player he turned out to be. Listen to the knowledgeable Perry Groves, chaps, and relax about Gyökeres. Well, Perry Groves will be on Game Day Live on Sunday, 1:30. We come live from the Emirates Stadium. Crookie and I will be there throughout the course of the afternoon. Perry will be with us as well. Make sure you join us for that. Tomorrow it's West Ham Sunderland. We've also got the big South Coast derby on Sunday as well on talkSPORT 2. This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. Lots to get through between now and 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll talk about Manchester City as well. Have they traded their trademark consistency for a cycle of boom and bust?
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 11:02, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Unai Emery's justified pushing Yuri Tielemans as he came off last night, saying he's my son. Ex-Villa keeper Mark Bosnich has told us when you're close to people, your emotions can run hot, and we shouldn't read too much into it.
Look, it was just a little bit off in terms of the fact that we've never seen anything quite resemble that from Unai Emery since his time at Aston Villa, and it has gone so well. But ultimately, absolutely nothing. Look, if he gets left out of the next 3 games, which I don't think will happen, maybe we're wrong, but I really don't think there's anything.
Emery's dreaming of a 5th Europa League title. Villa through to the knockouts with a game to spare. Now, ahead of Newcastle's nightmare run, starting with Villa's visit to St James's Park, Eddie Howe's hoping Bruno Guimaraes' ankle problem is not serious.
The extent of the injury is still unknown, but he was reasonably positive after the game. Speaking to again, he's the guy that will never rule anything out, so we're going to give him every chance for this weekend. Let's wait and see.
Meanwhile, Mo Salah's set to start his first Premier League game in 6 weeks.
He's ready to play tomorrow, but because he's shown that so many times in his career. But he, like all the others, have a training session to go, and then I will decide on the lineup.
Liverpool go to Bournemouth without Ibrahima Konate. Arne Slot says he needs time after his father passed away. A Leeds bid for Jorgen Strand Larsen has been rejected. Wolves value the forward at 40 million, but would be happy to keep him till the summer. And Wrexham director Humphrey Kerr's told us reports they're about to drop £19 million on a striker, a wide of the mark. More on all this at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Number 10 blocked a climate report warning about mass migration and nuclear war because it was too negative, and the Prime Minister is going to speak to Donald Trump after his comments about NATO troops ducking the tough stuff in Afghanistan. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Unsettled, wet across Scotland, a bit brighter elsewhere before more rain coming through the southwest later. Windy with coastal gales developing.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So, do you want to read the backtrack on that? Yeah. It doesn't take much to get Crookie nibbling, does it? Just mention Manchester and he can't refrain himself. You bang on, Gabby, says Greeno, one texter. Actually, I got a little bit of stick for having a laugh and a joke with Bruno Give Me Rice, because apparently, well, I did say this the other week, I said hyperbole, and Amelia had to correct me, so it's hyperbole. Hyperbole, yes. That's right. I keep getting that wrong. You did go to school, didn't you?
I did.
Long time ago now.
Yeah, it was, actually. Over 30 years. Anyway, moving on. Manchester City, they suffered in midweek when they lost away at Bodo Glimt. That high line caused them all sorts of issues. On Saturday in the Manchester derby, they were taken apart by Manchester United's attacking prowess. What's going on here, and how long before they turn it around? Gabby Agbonlahor, they've gone... November saw 4 wins and 2 defeats. December, a seamless month of 7 wins from 7. January, 3 draws, 2 wins and 2 defeats. Why are they so up and down?
Well, first of all, I would say Haaland, for me, has to have a rest. Already played 31 games this season, Sam, for Manchester City. I think he's played 6 games for Norway as well. It's a lot of football, 37 games in total. No open play goal for a month as well. Haaland looks to me like he needs a rest. Can Marmoush come and play against Wolves down the middle? But defensively, I'm not sure about Kushinov. I'm not sure about him at all. It will be good to get Gahey straight into that starting lineup. But the defensive midfielder, Rodri, outstanding player. He's been for Manchester City, Ballon d'Or winner. But if you watch him against Manchester United, he couldn't run. If you watched him against Bodo Glimt, especially for that third goal, too easy, too silly yellow cards as well.
But doesn't somebody else have to take the blame for that? Because basically, when he comes back from the ACL, it's pretty apparent that he's not 100% fit. To put him in that midfield on his own and ask him to do what Rodri used to do, which was patrol the whole thing and deal with everything that came at him, was too much of an ask. And as soon as that became an issue, why didn't they address that problem and add an extra in there? Playing Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden as well just leaves them far too open, doesn't it?
Yeah, so lightweight. Bernardo Silva's been a great player for Manchester City, but he's not the same sort of player now. Can't really get around the pitch as much. And like you says, lightweight in midfield. Nico Gonzalez is another defensive midfielder who's had his injury problems as well. But watching Rodri now is a shadow of his former self, and that showed for sure in midweek against Bodo Glimt.
It's interesting. We recorded the Fiery Friday podcast with Adrian Durham, and he suggested that Pep Guardiola should offer to resign on the back of that defeat in the Arctic Circle. Is that a bit dramatic?
Oh, Adrian.
What's a bit dramatic?
Very
the
dramatic.
thing about going to Bodo Glimt is it's not an easy place to go for anyone. If you go back over the course of the last few years, only one team has really emerged. Even Arsenal struggled when they went there. They ended up getting a victory there, but they struggled in that game. Tottenham got absolutely battered earlier in the season and somehow came away with a 2-2 draw. Celtic have been beaten there. Roma were absolutely torn apart there when Jose Mourinho was the manager. 6. Porto were there, and they absolutely
It's not just
ripped
that,
apart.
Sam. It's the performance in a local derby. No fight, no passion, getting bullied, no aggression.
I think it could happen away at Bodo Glimt, but I think the fact that it's happened 3 times in a row where you could see that pushing up that high line and not having someone with a presence in midfield that can deal on their own. They had Nico O'Reilly on his own against Newcastle United. They got done a couple of times. They should have scored and got ahead in that game, Newcastle. It was only because of a miss by Worcester that they didn't.
How many times did Carl Walker get them out of trouble as well, by the way?
I was going to ask you that question. I mean, obviously, Adrian was being a little bit dramatic.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure Manchester City fans would agree. But has Pep been found out a little bit in terms of rebuilding this team? Because you mentioned Carl Walker. I don't think they ever really replaced Riyad Mahrez. De Bruyne has gone now as well. Comparisons were being made between Pep and Sir Alex Ferguson in terms of their ability to regenerate. But has he rebuilt a team yet? Guardiola, you look at last season, a pitiful defence of the title. They're 7 points behind Arsenal this season as well.
Yeah, I just think as well, like, it's the players that he's brought in as well. He spent so much money. If you look at the last 3 transfer windows, I think he spent over 450 million. I mean, this window, he spent 90 million. Semenyo, Guehi. Can we start calling him? I might be disrespectful. Is he a checkbook manager? Because the amount of players he's been able to buy.
Sorry, did you just call one of the greatest managers of the last 20 years a checkbook manager?
At the moment, he is, yeah, because he's had the great chance to rebuild this Manchester City side, and look at what they're putting on a plate.
This is not the first time he's rebuilt it, though. He's turned it over before. When David Silva left, he had to change the team. When
look at what he's spending.
Left, he had to change.
But look what he's spending on this squad of players, and they look a million miles off it.
I think for me, where it falls down, the argument of Pep being the greatest manager of the Premier League here, and I know Scott Minto has nailed his colours firmly to that mask on this programme. You look at Fergie when he took over at Manchester United. He led them to a first title in 26 years. He inherited a bit of a mess of a football club. Arsene Wenger, look where Arsenal were when he took over there, and within one full season in charge, he won the double. Pep inherited a very good Manchester City team, a very strong project, same at Bayern Munich, and obviously at that great Barcelona team as well. I think now question marks are being asked to Manchester City, and at the moment, I think they're falling a bit short.
You look at Marmouche. What do you pay for Marmouche? 70 million.
What about
That's
Rico
not really
Lewis, who's bought through the ranks? What about Phil Foden, who is
has Rico Lewis done well? Has Rico Lewis done well?
Rico
He looks horrific at right back recently.
Nico O'Reilly coming in. Fantastic.
Okay, Rico Lewis has looked poor at right back. Foden, yes, fantastic player. But don't tell me
that Calvin Phillips on the book.
Yeah, don't tell me you can go and spend 70 million on Marmouche. It's not working.
John
okay,
Stones
can I go and get 25 million on
coming through
Semenyo?
from Everton. Rodri wasn't even the best player in Madrid when he was signed from Atletico. Look at what he's turned him into now. How can you say he's a checkbook manager?
Now he is. I'm not going on what Pep's done at Barcelona, at Bayern Munich, and he's obviously most of his stay at Manchester City. But if you look at what they're spending, Sam, do you know what I mean? What they're spending is wild. And
But he won't be the one spending that, right? So it will be
it's not him.
Viana who's in charge of
You
bringing.
don't think Pep's saying he wants these players? You think Pep's...
Maybe he may be having an influence, but it won't be entirely down to him, will it?
Well, I just look at the standard of the players that he has paid big money for. Marmoush hasn't worked, 70-odd million. What was Kushinov? Big money, not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And then it's not working. Okay, there's 90 million, Pep. Go and get Semenyo for 65, and it could be 30 million for Gahey. See if that solves that the problem.
Aren't some
if it
of those
doesn't,
players that he's bought ones for the future? Kusanov, for example, they believe is going to be a very good player in the future. Okay, struggling to adapt to the Premier League, but it's nearly a year that he's been in the league. He's only been in the year for at least.
Yeah, but you can tell sometimes that a player doesn't look good enough.
Quick across the ground,
yeah, but when you watch him, I mean, look at the Manchester derby.
Okay, he's struggling
all over the place. But I just look at this Manchester City squad and the money they're able to spend window after window. I mean, since January 2025, Sam, you can name a new starting 11 with new signings.
Wow. 03717223334. I'm surprised at the reaction from this. Finally, something I agree with Gabby Agbonlahor. Pep is a checkbook manager. He done the same with Bayern and Barca. He's never took over a failing side. Finally, someone with the same opinion as me, says another texter. Pep is a checkbook manager. He's a fraud, says Dan in Cheltenham.
I think that's a little bit strong.
Yeah,
a little bit strong.
James has got in touch. Not that James, don't panic. Arsenal fan. Gabby is right. Pep used to make players better. None of these players are getting better now. For all the checkbook manager plonks in the comments, Pep played Foden as a false nine and won the league. Could have bought a striker but didn't need a left back. Played Zinchenko there and now Nico. Delph also playing left back. Nunes now playing right back instead of splashing big cash. Dropping Stones in at central defensive midfield player. I'd say Liverpool spending all the money trying to build a Galacticos is the term checkbook, not Manchester City.
Just on Phil Foden, by the way, and again, we spoke about this on the All Access podcast. There was a little spell earlier in the season where you thought, well, this is Phil Foden back to his best. He was starting to score goals, but it only lasted 4 or 5 games. He was hauled off at half-time in the Manchester derby, taken off again in midweek. What's happened to Phil Foden? And is he a guaranteed
mid-December
squad member for the World Cup? I'm not sure he is, you know.
Mid-December was his last goal in the Premier League as well.
Yeah, 03717223344 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. Gabby Agbonlahor is here, so is Alex Crook and me, Sam Matterface. And yeah, well, you said it. Gabby Agbonlahor said that Pep Guardiola has become a checkbook manager. What's your views on that? 03717223344. We want to hear from you. Let's hear from Toby Gillis, who's watching the Australian Open.
I'm afraid to tell you, Sam, the final Briton in the Australian Open singles is out. Cameron Norrie put up a fight, and it is no shame losing to Alexander Zverev, but there will be some regrets. He started like a train, only to allow the third seed back in immediately. Looked the better throughout the first set, but still let it slip. Got back into it with a late break to win the second, but then just fell apart. The fourth and final set in particular a disappointment. Zverev serving too good throughout, and it slipped 6-1. That adds to the loss of Britain's men's doubles top seeds. Lloyd Glasspool and Julian Cash earlier, losing in a second-round tie in straight sets to an Australian wildcard pair. Elsewhere in the singles, wins today for Carlos Alcaraz, Alex de Minaur in a sensational 5-set back-from-2-down victory for Daniil Medvedev. In the women's, a hard-fought but excellent and dramatic victory for the world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka. Coco Gauff is also through, and so is the brilliant teenage Canadian Victoria Mboko, who faces Sabalenka in the last 16. We'll be back early tomorrow with all you need from Day 7 of the Australian Open.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
It's talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and the Saltmeister, and loads of calls coming in on Manchester City after Gabby's scandalous accusation.
The blue touch paper, didn't
it? The man who's won 2 doubles, League Cup and FA Cup in this country, League Cup and European Cup winners, League Cup, FA Cup, and the Champions League in 22-23 as well. The treble, they've done that, and yet apparently Pep is a checkbook manager. Oof. Okay, Gab. Cannot agree he is a checkbook manager, says Jamie. The top players bring quality, but still require managing and subsequently pitch tactics against the quality of other leagues. The checkbook is only a wheel in the whole system of achieving success and silverware. If Pep is a checkbook manager, says Paul, then Gabby is a clickbait presenter from Paul the Painter. Mark, agree with Gab.
I need some painting done at my house.
Do you?
Yeah. I'll get in touch afterwards.
Which wing?
Which house you mean? Or which?
Oh, sorry. Pep is used to inheriting worldie-level squads with bucket loads of money to tweak said squad. But as soon as a rebuild is needed, he's being caught out as possibly not having all the tools needed to go through the full rebuild. Well, they're only a little way through it, aren't they? 3 windows, they said, and he's had 2 of them so far.
A few quid in those 2 windows, though.
Ashley from Raksu and Mike is on the line. Hello, Mike.
Hi, are you okay?
Yeah, we're good,
Good morning, Mike.
What do you want to say to Gabby Agbonlahor?
Well, I like Gabby. I think he's a good laugh. I think he's been set up this morning by you lot. I think you've made him. I think you've given it him to say, right, you say this, Gabby, and then take a bit of flack.
Do you think that Gabby's not capable of his own thought? You think we're puppet masters? Are you gonna? We don't make you say anything, do we?
Occasion, yeah, I think it is on this occasion. I think he's been made to say it.
You're totally wrong. I'm saying it because I'm looking at what other teams are spending in January.
I was sticking up for you then, Gabby.
No, but I'll explain to you. I don't say things without backing them up. The last 3 transfer windows, Manchester City have spent over 400 million. And I can read out all of those signings for you if you want, and you can tell me which one has been successful.
No, it's all right, because funnily enough, I know who all the signings are.
Really?
So, yeah, right, listen. When Pep started at City, he didn't inherit a fantastic team.
Sure.
We weren't doing that well under Pellegrini. And what he did in his first season was shocking to us, because what he did, he basically removed the brilliant goalkeeper in Joe Hart. And we didn't like it, right? And he put Claudio Bravo in nets, who was terrible. But what he did, he sort of taught the team to play without a goalkeeper. And then that's been copied by lots and lots of teams. Then what's happened is he's reached such a sort of level of excellence. It was almost too much. And what we were having was we had great players on the bench. And then he had a problem because the great players didn't want to stay with us. If we look back now at some of the players we've had to sell, like Mahrez and Alvarez and people like that, we'd love those players to still be with us, wouldn't we? Because they're better than some of the players we've got now. So he's reached that incredible level, and then everyone's expected it. I mean, we've seen them win 4 cups in a season, 5 trophies in a season. They've done the Champions League that they've never done before. So we'd have to be pretty entitled and pretty spoiled, and almost United-ish, if we didn't realise that we've seen something incredible. He's now a bit tired. We haven't had the right players coming yet, but he's working on it.
Mike, I thought you were going to manage to get for a whole conversation about City there without mentioning United. You let me down at the end. But actually, I'm going to back you up a little bit.
I'm going to mention United, aren't I? Because they've given the
well, yeah, because you're always in their shadow. But anyway, we'll carry on. I've got the league table here of the net spend from the last 5 years. And actually, Manchester City are only 6th in that net spend table. They're behind Newcastle, behind Tottenham, behind Chelsea, behind Arsenal. And believe it or not, Manchester United, the biggest net spenders.
Because the other thing that they do,
years.
which sometimes goes under the radar, is that they are very good sellers, Manchester City. They develop players through their academy, and they get good money for them. Thanks, Mike.
I don't think he's a checkbook manager. I think Gabs went too far, but I do think there's a danger that maybe he's been there too long.
Amazing how a few games can completely change how we talk about the most successful managers of the modern era. Ridiculous from Gabby there. Just take a look at the trophy cabinet. The only team ever to win 4 straight titles in English top flight history, 2021, 22, 23 and 24. Wasn't that long ago. Fergie was a checkbook manager. After the lads of 92, he spent big every single season, says Ross. Pep is 100% a checkbook manager, says David. Even Alex Goldbridge would win the trophies with his teams that he's managed. Put him in charge of an average club and he would be an average manager.
I'd like to see that. I would like to see his next job is not at a powerhouse. I mean, it's never going to happen, is it?
Lads, for me, though, like watching Manchester City this season...
What's Mido got to do with it?
Mido, top player, by the way. But I just look at Manchester City this season, I'm like, the way they're playing, I'm not sure what's Manchester City's style now. Watching them in the derby against Manchester United, very slow, very boring play. And looking at the players that he's brought in the last three windows. Nico Gonzalez, okay. Kushinov, I'm not sure about. Marmoush, 70 million. 10 Premier League appearances this season, 0 goals. 5 Champions League appearances this season, 0 goals. Aït-Nouri can't get in the team since he's been back from injury. Shirky, okay, I like Shirky, decent player. Reinders, 50 million. Trafford, 27 million. Donnarumma, 26 million. And then when you get to January and you've got some injury problems...
Hold on. Aït-Nouri will end up being a very good signing. Reinders is a good signing.
How do you know?
Shirky is a good signing.
How do you know who will be?
Donnarumma?
I like Donnarumma.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at least if you're going to read out the list and criticise the ones you don't like, at least praise the ones that are actually been okay.
What he's spending, though, and then you get to January and Diaz gets injured, Gvardiol gets injured, you've got problems. Okay, other teams can't really go out and spend big. All right, Gahey, what are we going to offer you? £300,000 a week. We're going to get the agents a good fee as well.
That's what happens if you turn over a load of money and you bring in a lot of revenue and you're allowed to spend it.
You've got Oscar Bob, you've got Foden, Shirky, Doku. You've got so many options on the wing. Okay, now Semenyu's the best one available now. Let's get him as well. What I'm saying is that when it gets a bit tough for Manchester City, let's go and spend big.
Ashley from Raksu, which I think is the group that won X Factor, wasn't it? Quite a while ago, 2017, wasn't it? Ashley, hello.
Yeah, it was a few years ago now. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, good, thank you. What do you want to say?
So I've softened a little bit hearing you guys speak, and maybe we shouldn't call him a checkbook manager because maybe most of the top clubs have that. But I will say Pep Guardiola is massively overrated. And the reason why I say this is that for sustained success, obviously you need an element of greatness, but people saying that he's the best manager ever or one of the best managers ever, I think the Barcelona team he inherited was incredible. I think after your points won the treble at Bayern Munich, Pep comprehensively failed in Munich by being able to win it again.
That's not what the Bayern Munich people say, though. If you speak to people in Munich, they absolutely love him because they feel that what he did is then he set them up for greater success over the long term, and his inheritance to the next manager was great.
That may be the case, but he inherited a team that won the Champions League and he failed to do that. And then you came to Manchester City, a team that was already winning titles and managed to do that. So that is all great. But to Gabby's point, in comparison to a Jose Mourinho that managed to win the Champions League with Porto, in comparison to a Claudio Ranieri who managed to beat all of the odds by winning the Premier League with Leicester, in comparison to an Arsene Wenger that managed to come in and build Arsenal into what they did as well, I just think it's a massive, massive overestimation of his abilities to see that because of what he's done at Barcelona, Bayern and City, he is at the top of the tree of managers. I don't think there's any real logical ground to say that.
Okay, well, the fact that he's won 4 Premier Leagues in a row, the fact that he won a domestic treble, a continental treble, he won 4 League Cups in a row, sustained success in Bayern Munich, at Barcelona and at Manchester City. I mean, he's got good credentials to be up there as one of the greatest managers of all time. I don't think either of us actually said that he was, but it was Gabby who said he was a checkbook manager, and I just think that's a little bit of an overstatement.
I say he's becoming a checkbook manager, meaning that...
Yeah, because I think... Sorry, Gabby.
No, carry on,
I think Gabby's got a point, because until he goes somewhere or until he's in a situation whereby he can't just throw money at a problem, we are up until this point yet to see Pep Guardiola have success with the absence of having nearly unlimited funds.
Why would he do that? He ain't going to do that, right? He's never going to do that. He's got no reason to take over Bournemouth or to take over Brighton.
Why not?
Or to go down.
Why not?
Well, he's got no reason to do it.
Why not try it? Let's see what you can do with it.
Why try it? Why put your record on the line and under scrutiny in that manner?
Why not?
Because if you're that good, that's how you prove it. If you are that good, like the other managers that we've spoken of.
Is that what Sir Alex Ferguson did? Did he leave Manchester United and go to
Alex Ferguson won a European trophy with Aberdeen. They beat Real Madrid in the final.
Got that, Sam?
No, I didn't forget it. But you're saying after you'd finished that great success, you're not going to go anywhere else, are you?
Before or after?
That was the point. Well, no, he didn't do it before, so he has to do it after.
Why not go and try it though? it gets a bit tough. Stones, Diaz, Guardiola out. Okay, who's the best defender in the Premier League? Okay, Gay's one of them. I'll go and get him. Whatever it takes, get him here.
Who do you think's the greatest Premier League manager of all time?
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Good.
0371722. We asked James what he thinks. 037172233 4. That's the number to call if you want to get in touch. 8 10 89 on the text. Why do you keep saying checkbook in the background?
I haven't got one, I don't think.
Have you ever used one?
No. Do they still work?
I definitely do.
I think I've still got a checkbook.
I bet you have. Of course you have.
Do they bounce as well?
It's in the glove box of the Ford Cortina.
This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here right the way through till 1 o'clock, where Crookie loves to bring the 80s back.
He might not fancy Villa's Premier League top 5 chances, but Unai Emery is dreaming of yet another Europa League title.
We can feel here in this competition. We are trying to get another way with those experiences, being strong and competing until the last moment. And of course, I am dreaming to be here getting trophies, and Europa League is one objective we have this year.
The win in Fenerbahce sees Villa through to the knockouts with a game to spare. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest are looking for another striker. The injured Igor Jesus missed the defeat at Braga, which leaves Forest 15th in the table and facing a February playoff. Now, it doesn't sound like Thomas Frank would be keen on losing Mickey van der Ven anytime soon.
He's fit, he's strong, good defensively, he's growing as a leader, scoring goals as well. And he's a very important player for us this season and for the future.
That's after we heard Spurs had slapped a £100 million price tag on Big Mickey. We understand, meanwhile, that the Saudi Pro League bosses are planning a big summer transfer blitz to boost the competition's profile. Mo Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Vinny Jr. and Robert Lewandowski are all wanted, but we're told reports Wrexham are about to break their own transfer record to sign Angers striker Siddiqui Sharif are rubbish.
Yeah, we're looking at lots of different players at the moment, but yeah, to say that we've launched a £92 million bid, I'm not sure that's 100% correct.
You can catch up on that chat with Wrexham director Humphrey Kerr on our YouTube channel, and we've got Derby versus West Brom in the Championship live on talkSPORT 2 tonight.
Hey, it's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. A bit of breaking news from the transfer world. Here's Alex Crook.
Tim won this. Liverpool, Andy Robertson, their defender, is out of contract at the end of the season. Tottenham in talks about a potential January move. Now, I'm told there are a few things that need to happen in order for this deal to be completed, but I think that'd be a really good pickup for Spurs.
It'd be a great pickup for Spurs, but aren't they a little bit light, Liverpool, to be allowing defenders to go, bearing in mind that I think they've only got 3 central defenders?
Yeah, I think maybe...
He has been playing there, hasn't he, at times?
Yeah, I think maybe they would look to bring in another body. Obviously, they've lost Conor Bradley on the other side as well. Kirkes' form has picked up, hasn't it? He's taken a while to find his feet at Anfield. He was really good in the game against Arsenal, and really good by all accounts in Marseille midweek as well.
Okay, well, see if we can bring you any more news on that in just a few moments. Time now to catch up with the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. GambleAware.org.
And get out the plastic cups, the paper plates, and the party poppers, because for the second week in a row, Dan Towles from BetMGM is here to look at today's top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Good morning to you. You all right?
Good morning, Mr. Matterface. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Nice to have you. Big weekend of Premier League football this week. West Ham Sunderland is live on talkSPORT. And Brentford Forest as well you want to focus on. It's relegation battle time.
It is. Lots of conversation this morning. As you mentioned, West Ham host Sunderland, and West Ham looking to benefit from the early kick-off and go 2 points just behind Nottingham Forest, who don't play until Sunday. Their home record in this fixture is positive, having won 9 of the 12 Premier League games, although they did lose 3-0 in the reverse fixture early in the season. I expect there'll be plenty of goals, given the Hammers haven't kept a clean sheet in any of their last 19 Premier League games. West Ham are 8-5, the draw's at 9-4, and Sunderland are 37-20. But a lot of the talk's been about Nottingham Forest this morning. Appreciate they lost last night in Europe. They head to Brentford. If West Ham do pick up all 3 points on Saturday lunchtime, then it becomes an even bigger game for Sean Dyche's side. Forest did win this fixture 3-1 earlier in the season and looking to complete a league double over Brentford for just the third time in their history. But just a quick look at their fixtures post this weekend. They host Crystal Palace side, who we know has been well documented. They haven't won a match since December and everything that's going on in the background there. Then they head to Leeds before hosting Wolves. So it's a big 4 games coming up for Forest. The home side, unfortunately for Forest, do have the 4th best home record in the league, only behind the top 3, and they've only lost just once at the G-Tech. So, as you'd expect, Brentford are the odds-on favourites. Forest just over 3-1, and the draw at 5-2.
Yeah, this is a big couple of weeks, isn't it, Gabby, for Nottingham Forest, bearing in mind that they have that Ferencváros game in, which we think probably now they can't get through to the top 8 of the competition. So they should be concentrating on Palace, on Leeds and on Wolves.
Oh, 100%. And they've got to be looking below them and West Ham. I think West Ham will get a victory against Sunderland on Saturday at 12:30. Is that live on talkSPORT?
It is, 12:30.
With who? It's not you and Cook, is it?
It's Reshman, Stuart and I, yeah.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, but Forest still in a lot of danger of getting relegated.
Okay. Golden Goals. Each week we're placing a prediction on some of the upcoming games on Golden Goals. If we correctly guess the exact scoreline, BetMGM will donate £500 to our chosen charity, Prostate Cancer UK. What we got this week?
Yes, so the wait goes on with a certain chief football correspondent, which we'll come to shortly.
Because you keep giving me United games. You know I'm never going to predict anything other than a positive result.
Well, calm down. I'm not James the Man United fan. So let's... so we'll kick off with you. We're giving you Bournemouth-Liverpool.
Bournemouth-Liverpool. Okay, Liverpool I think have picked up a little bit. They are on a really good unbeaten run, aren't they? Away from home, haven't been as good. Goals haven't been flowing in the Premier League this season that well. But I was with Bournemouth at Brighton on Monday night, and despite the fact they played well in the first half, they lost James Tavernier to an injury. They looked absolutely cream-crackered by the end of that game. And I just got a feeling that squad looks just a little bit too light right now. So I'm going to go for a Liverpool 3-1 victory.
Yeah, Liverpool on a 6-game win streak versus Bournemouth. Won 12 of the last 13 meetings, but Liverpool lost 3 times after European ties this season. We know it's been a little bit of a flip-flop for Liverpool to date. So bold prediction, but that is a 19-2 chance, so 9.5-1. Gabby, Newcastle Villa, and you've slightly surprised me with your prediction here.
Yes, because Newcastle are unbeaten in their last 17 Premier League games at home against Aston Villa. Last season, they beat Aston Villa 3-0. I need to say Aston Villa. I keep saying they beat us. I need to stop saying that. So I look at this as a very tough place to go for Aston Villa in recent years, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win for Newcastle.
Wasn't it 0-0 when they played earlier in the season? Opening day, I think it was live on talkSPORT, that.
Yes. Conte got sent off, yeah. But away from home, Villa struggle against Newcastle, but at home, Villa do very well against Newcastle.
Yes, James Park, tough place to go. You mentioned about Newcastle unbeaten 17 home Premier League games against Villa, but they've also not lost at home in their last 18 in it. So, but they're possibly up their captain, as was mentioned earlier on the show.
What's his name?
Bruno Guimaraes.
Nearly, Dan. Nearly.
I'm not falling for it.
Just do yourself a favour and just go with the Kerwin pronunciation.
No, I'll just go
Rice.
Bruno. Captain Bruno may be unavailable on Sunday, but a Newcastle 2-1 win is 6.5 to 1. And then Crookie. So before we come to you, so
I
this
wonder
running
what
streak-
game he's going to get.
Yeah, hold on a minute. So we did a little bit of digging this morning just to look at how bad this record is. So you're 0 out of 19 so far this season. But then we looked back and we thought, well, how did he get on towards the back end of last season? We actually failed in the final 6 games there as well. So you're actually officially 0 out of 25.
25 without a win.
So I'm basically Wolves.
Well, you can call it what you want, but you've gone for. We haven't gone. We've given you Arsenal, Man United, where you've got a good record with this one.
Oh yes, didn't I predict we beat them on penalties in the FA Cup last season and got the score right?
You did.
Listen, my head, which is probably what I should be using, says 2-1 Arsenal. My heart says Super Michael Carrick's going to get another positive result. I've gone a 1-1 draw, even though we've lost our last 4 Premier League games at the Emirates.
Yeah, you alluded to. You did get the prediction right last season. I think it was a cup match, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So Arsenal 1, Man United 1 is a 6-1 shout. Now, if you fail again this week, we're going to have to ask some other people to help support.
Why don't we get Mrs. Crook to do the prediction next week?
Well, to be honest, we could get your cat to do it. It'd probably be more accurate than you. So those 3 predictions, we've got Sam has gone for a 3-1 Liverpool win at Bournemouth. Gabby, Newcastle 2, Villa 1. Crookie, you've gone for a 1-0 draw. 551, the treble. But like we always say, let's try and get some money for prostate cancer.
The Crookmeister is here this Friday, which means that the Cheltenham racing must start tomorrow. In which case, what's happening?
Yeah, Festival Trials Day, which is basically the rehearsal for the big one in March. 2 races, just going to have a quick look at it. 25 past 2 is the Cotswold Chase with Grade Dawning, the Dan Skelton trained Grade Dawning. He's looking to build upon his credentials as a Gold Cup contender. He won the Group 1 at Haydock back in November and he did it quite well. So if he goes well again tomorrow, the current 12 to 1 anti-post price for the Gold Cup will likely contract. Then we have 2 leading contenders of the Champion Hurdle. We've got Sir Gino, trained by Nicky Henderson, and again, Dan Skelton with a new line. Sir Gino, short price favourite at around 2 to 5. He won the Christmas Hurdle by 6 lengths, and he'd actually been off a year before he turned up at Kempton in December. And despite falling out last time in the BetMGM fighting 5th, Dan Skelton is confident over his horse, the New Lion. He won Cheltenham last year over 2 miles 5. He's stepping back in trip over 2 miles. He's 2 to 1 second favourite. On paper, it will take some performance to get his head in front of Sir Gino, but if he does, then you can likely see him be leading in the market for the Champion Hurdle in March.
I've got to doff my cap to you, Dan, because you did tip up John Bon last week for the big race, didn't you? Went off at 6 to 1 in the end.
It's very kind of you, but I didn't know. I didn't think he'd come into the top 2.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, well, anyway, Dan, you got a little bit of credit for something you didn't do there. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. You're getting more and more like Crookie every day. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Going to talk transfers next in the next moment of the programme. 03717223344. If you've got any pressing questions for Alex Crook on the WhatsApp, get in touch. This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor, and the boy wonder indeed. Alex Crook is here to answer your transfer queries next with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Hey, good morning to you. It's talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor here through till 1 o'clock, looking ahead to a massive weekend of football, which starts with West Ham against Sunderland tomorrow, 12:30. We've got Game Day Live with Adrian Durham from 2:30. And then on Sunday, Portsmouth, Southampton. What a huge match that is on talkSPORT 2. And then Crookie and I will be at the Emirates Stadium as we go round the grounds on what is a busy Sunday of action. Game Day Live from 1:30. Make sure you join us for that. Right, so time to get an update on the transfer window.
Transfer window update on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
And the transfer window is hotting up as we get towards the end. Just 8 days to go before it closes, and Crookie is beavering away, if that's what you call it. Strand Larsen going to Leeds United. How close is that?
Well, we're going to get the checkbook out here, are we? Pep Guardiola style.
We're allowed to get the checkbook out.
I wouldn't say it's close at this stage, but Leeds have now made a formal offer. I've just been told that was £30 million plus add-ons for Jurgen Strand Larsen, rejected by Wolves. I think they're looking for a guaranteed £40 million. But I would expect this to ramp up in the final week or so of the window, not just when it comes to Leeds, but we broke the news yesterday that Crystal Palace have also been in talks with Strand Larsen's camp about a potential move that might be dependent on Jean-Philippe Mateta leaving Selhurst Park. What is definitive
is that Strand Larsen wants out of Molineux and ideally he wants to stay in the Premier League.
Okay, so Gabby, what will he add to Leeds United, bearing in mind he hasn't had the best of seasons?
Strand Larsen from last season will add a lot. He will add goals. He will add physical presence. Strand Larsen from this season, I'm not sure. Can you blame that on a poor Wolves side? He's not getting the service. Maybe. There was talk, wasn't there, about Newcastle wanting him last season. And
Daniel Farke's already revived Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Can he revive Strand Larsen?
Of course he can. Maybe he just needs a change. Wanted to leave in the summer, didn't happen. Wolves didn't let him go. But
Simon Jordan thinks he's absolutely terrible. He's described him on this programme as a donkey.
He's not. Listen, he showed last season what he can do. He can be a clinical striker. Yes, this season he's been poor, but maybe like Sam says, Daniel Farke or even Crystal Palace, if we can go there and get the right service, I think he'll score goals again.
Andrew Robertson could be on the move.
Yeah, this is a story that's breaking in the last sort of half an hour or so. I think initially Tottenham were looking at taking Robertson as a free agent when his contract expires in the summer. We're told they're looking to bring that interest forward to this window. There has been an approach made by Tottenham to Liverpool. Liverpool appreciate the service that he's given, and they have therefore entered into talks, but I'm told there's still a few things that need to happen. I'd imagine...
Is it something that they're going to try and allow to happen because they feel as if they owe him a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. But obviously they've got to put the club's interest first. And you mentioned they are a little bit light in defensive areas already. So I would imagine they may look to source a replacement before they enable this deal to happen. But what does seem pretty certain from these conversations is that Robertson's career at Anfield, be it in this window or in the summer, is coming to an end.
Maybe he wants to be a starter. He's not happy with playing second choice to Kirkers.
We're interested to see what happens if he goes to Tottenham Hotspur, because you've got a doggy there, Jed Spence there. There's like a lot of competition for places. Talk to me about Lucas Paquetá. Is he going to play at the weekend?
No, he's got this back injury, which West Ham are now insisting is genuine. I know you've got doubts about that, but we're not expecting him to feature in the game you'll be commentating tomorrow. There has now been a formal offer from Flamengo over in Brazil. It falls below West Ham's £40 million valuation. And what's interesting about this, I mentioned it last week, the transfer window in Brazil doesn't close until March.
Right.
So I wonder if West Ham are hoping they can get Paquetá fit. He can play a few games between now and March, maybe help them put some points on the board, and then this deal could be allowed to happen.
Do you think his back will be okay on the private jet to Brazil? Extra cushions or maybe a bed on the jet?
His own masseuse?
Yeah, maybe a massage on the jet.
Quick word on the Saudis and on Sarmiento quickly, because we've got a lot of text messages we want to get to you.
On the Saudis, Ben Jacobs, obviously very well connected in that part of the world. He reported on the talkSPORT website last night they've got a list of 50 players they want to bring in from across Europe in the upcoming transfer window.
This is the second phase, I understand, in terms of big spend.
Mo Salah is on that list. Casemiro, obviously announcing his Manchester United departure yesterday, is on that list. And I was told actually by one source that he's now on for a move to Saudi Arabia. It'll be interesting because they speak about a lot of these big names, the Saudi Pro League, but they don't actually attract that many, do they? Obviously, there's the top ones like Cristiano Ronaldo, but
Neymar, Ruben Neves.
But they've tried and failed to sign many more players than who have actually gone over there.
Okay, Sarmiento, we think it's going to Middlesbrough for £5 million. Good
move that for Borough.
Yeah, expensive one though, isn't it? At this stage of the season, Peter Edgeworth in Southampton says Adam Armstrong to Wolves. Met Alex briefly at St Mary's a couple of weeks ago when he was on his way to his commentary position.
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah, lovely guy. He enjoys the show. He's on Wolves' list, but I'm not sure they're going to press the button in this window. I think that would be more with a view to being a championship club next season.
Jamie says, any news on West Ham signing a centre-back? At the start of the window, we were linked with Charlie Cresswell, but like all of Sullivan's transfer windows, we get linked with a host of names that end up being an unknown Venezuelan for £1 million.
I think he's going elsewhere, isn't he, Cresswell? There's talk of a move to the Bundesliga.
He was linked with Chelsea as well once.
Yeah, he was. Obviously, a very talented England under-21 centre-back. Axel Disasi, I think, could be one to watch for West Ham. Obviously, he's back training with Chelsea now, I think primarily to increase his value in this window, but both West Ham and Crystal Palace have been mentioned.
We might come back to that a little bit later on because Liam Rosenior talked about that last week, didn't he? Ryan to Bournemouth, done or what? Been waiting on updates, Crook, says Jordan from Bournemouth. We need a winger.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much done. 19-year-old coming over from Vasco da Gama, a fee of around about £30 million. They see him long-term as someone who can fill the void left by Antoine Semenyo. Carlo Ancelotti rates this player quite highly. He's a Brazilian under-20 international. So it sounds like it could be a decent deal for Bournemouth.
Tom, who is a Brighton fan, says, question for the Saltmeister. Are Brighton going to do any business this window?
Not in terms of incomings, I don't believe.
There you go. All right, that's that then. That was all thanks to Intuit QuickBooks. Search quickbooks.co.uk to find out more.
Transfer window update on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Lots to come between now and 1 o'clock, and H&J, make sure you stick with us. We're going to hear from some of the managers, including Arne Slot. We're going to talk Liverpool next.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at just gone midday, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good afternoon. We're told Spurs are working on a deal to sign Liverpool's Andy Robertson. Arne Slot wasn't asked about that today, but he is more confident about Milos Kerkez following his Champions League performance.
Milos is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, in my opinion. He plays better and better and better, so it was a moment to give him that game during the week as well, and he did really well, in my opinion, in Marseille.
Meanwhile, Mo Salah is expected to play at Bournemouth tomorrow. Newcastle hope Bruno Guimaraes will be fit to face Villa on Sunday. Eddie Howe was cagey on the extent of his ankle injury. We understand West Ham have rejected a formal bid for Lucas Paquetá. That's from Flamengo in Brazil. West Ham versus Sunderland is live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. A Leeds bid for Jørgen Strand Larsen has been rejected by Wolves. All the latest at talksport.com. Now, Unai Emery's brushed off his push on Yuri Tielemans, saying he's my son. Former Villa keeper Mark Bosnich has played down their touchline spat.
Sometimes when you're close to people, you tend to let your emotions go a little bit further than you normally would because you know them so well. But long term, the time you got to worry as a player, and Razor will tell you, is when the manager ignores you completely. You can tell how much he cared about the player.
Villa are through to the Europa League knockouts with a game to spare. England have named their Six Nations squad, and despite a horror run of injuries, fullback George Furbank selected, uncapped ex-lock Greg Fisselau and young props Manny Yogan Aston and Billy Seller are also in. Meanwhile, Saracens director Mark McCall will leave the club at the end of the season. That's after 15 years. And Cam Norrie is out of the Australian Open tennis, ending British involvement in the singles.
talkSPORT News.
The climate report warning us about mass migration and nuclear war was blocked by Number 10 because it was too negative. And British veterans are angry about Donald Trump's comments that NATO troops stayed off the front lines in Afghanistan. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got more premium tyres than the number of times you'll hear, "Ooh, it's a bit nippy" this winter. Book today at quickfit.com.
Unsettled, wet across Scotland, bit brighter elsewhere before rain reaching the southwest later. Windy with coastal gales developing.
Team, it is Friday. We're looking forward to a massive weekend of Premier League action. So many big games to get to over the course of the weekend. We start with West Ham, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Manchester City against Wolverhampton Wanderers. We've got Brentford, Nottingham Forest on Sunday. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Arsenal versus Manchester United. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds. Which one? They're both playing red. Yeah. And there's only one team that's going to be wearing red on Sunday.
The only Reds, mate. The only Reds.
The only Reds. Well, let's turn our attention to the other Reds. Liverpool, who have gone through a period where they haven't been at their very...
Sorry, I was opening a message.
What was that, mate?
Are you all right?
Was that a nightclub video or something?
That was. I think I still had Twitter.
Yeah. Exactly what it was. You weren't sent some dodgy video, were you?
No.
Are you sure? Nice of you to be nice and professional, though, and have your phone on silent when you're in the studio.
It is on silent, but the videos are just not on silent.
Oh, right, okay.
And you can actually show me how to stop the pop-ups.
Yeah. I'll do that later.
Yeah, you're good on phones, aren't you?
Thanks very much. I'll be your dad. Right, okay, let's talk a bit about Liverpool because they've popped up with a run of 13 games unbeaten now, but a lot of those, as Gabby was telling me in the break, are draws. Arne Slot has been speaking this morning about Dominic Szoboszlai and his influence on the team, whether or not he is a leader or not. He certainly has been in terms of goals this season, including scoring an absolute belter against Arsenal earlier in the campaign.
Dom is having a very good season, but indeed he's been part of two moments in our recent games which was not of his standard. Missing a penalty is not common for him, but it happens in football as we see so many times. And his mistake against Burnley was someone you don't see often, and he acknowledged that. And apart from the great goal he scored, smart goal with a little bit of help of one of my coaching staff members, I think we also showed again how important he is when we don't have the ball, and also when we have the ball, because he gave a great assist to Hugo Ekitike as well, who unfortunately hit the woodwork.
It's Dominic Szoboszlai who scored that goal in midweek, which gave them a great chance of finishing in the top 8 of the Champions League. In fact, the Opta supercomputer says that they've got a 95% chance of being in the top 8 after next week's Champions League finale. They are unbeaten in 13, so why, Gabby, is there still an underwhelming feeling about the champions?
Because unbeaten in 13, but 6 of those have been draws. Ones that stand out for me against Leeds, Burnley and Fulham. You know, they should be beating teams like that, the quality they've still got available. Like Crookie said earlier, I thought Kirkes and Frimpong were very good midweek. They need to get some consistency in their game now as well. But Szoboszlai is the one that stands out. 7 goals so far this season.
Danny Murphy said on this show earlier in the week that he'll be a future Liverpool captain. Can you see that?
100%. Because when they've been struggling this season, he stood up, you know, and he's been top quality. He offers everything. And I've seen even Premier League players post on their Instagrams, wow, Szoboszlai. They're in awe of him. He's got everything. Technically very good. He's quick. He's aggressive. He can tackle.
He's a brilliant presser. He leads the press so superbly.
He's probably got one of the best strikes in the Premier League of the ball.
Yeah. Well, we were at the game, weren't we, earlier in the season when he scored against Arsenal.
Jeez.
Nearly did it again, didn't he?
He did.
The Emirates with a free kick that went just over. He's probably been the one player that has managed to one Liverpool player that's managed to maintain his levels from last season. Everybody else has had a bit of a drop-off.
Yes.
Apart from Szoboszlai.
Yeah. You talk about that 13-game unbeaten run. A lot of their troubles actually have come away from home, really. I mean, Sunderland at home, they drew 1-1. But let's be honest, Sunderland in a very good vein of form at the time. The other one was the Burnley game, which they drew at home. Apart from that, pretty much they've been pretty impressive at home.
Yeah, was it Leeds they drew as well?
Leeds 0-0, yeah.
Leeds 0-0 at home, yeah.
But Leeds in a good run of form.
Yeah, and Burnley, was it 34 shots they had? They should be scoring more than one. The amount of chances that they
Hugo
missed.
Ekitike's had a bit of a downturn in terms of his output, hasn't he, after a great start?
Yeah, he scored, 18, 19 he scored in Premier League, but watching midweek, he's missing so many chances. He was hitting the ball too hard. He wasn't caressing them in during the week, but will him being the main striker now with Isak injured long term, will he start to get his form back? Virg looks a lot better, though. He looks every game. He's gaining confidence of his teammates.
I think, to be fair, Sam will have the stats because that's what he does, but he was okay at the start of the season. He was creating a lot of chances that just weren't being taken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, listen, sometimes it was because of the fact that his team weren't on the same wavelength as him. He created a great chance against Chelsea, which would have been one of the assists of the season, had that have come off. But Salah didn't put it in, missed a big chance. That happened a couple of times in the early part of the season, and they couldn't get him on the ball in the early part of the season.
I still think they're short Liverpool attacking-wise. Gakpo 5 Premier League goals, Salah 4. Could they do with some more strength there? Semenyo was the player that I thought was going to go to Liverpool to challenge Gakpo for that left-hand side.
If they're going to get it, though, it's got to be from the flanks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because they can't get another central.
No, of course. They've not replaced Luis Diaz, have they? He was an outstanding player for them. And on that right-hand side, Harvey Elliott, obviously at Aston Villa. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's at Aston Villa. Have they got backup for Mo Salah as well on that right-hand side?
I think
Frimpong.
I think the feeling is, and this is why I'm not sure that Liverpool are
forward, really.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Liverpool are going to spend buckets of cash in the summer as maybe people expect, because I think they feel the players they signed in the last summer transfer window will come to the fore next season.
That squad still isn't big, though, is it?
But we haven't seen Alexander Isak yet, really, have we?
No.
Hit his
Leone,
straps
obviously,
in
the young
Liverpool
defender.
shirt. Yeah, they really rate him. They think Viertz will get better. They think Frimpong and Kirkes will grow into it. So, yes, they look a bit light in terms of numbers, but I think the reason they weren't part of the conversation for Semenyo and for Mark Gay in particular is because they just don't plan on spending
They need another
volume
left
of
back.
cash.
If they're going to let Robertson go, or if he ends his career at Liverpool at the end of the season, they're going to need another left back, aren't they?
Yes.
Do you see Destiny Udogie as a Liverpool player, potentially? Could there be some kind of swap deal?
I'm not sure.
No.
I'm not sure about him this season when I've seen him play. On the hands, he looked very good, didn't he? Attacking-wise, not defensively. But this season, he's not got to the levels. But Liverpool, they've got it in their own hands, haven't they? Top 4 as well.
Yeah.
That's what they would have wanted. And we had Jermaine Pennant on the sports bar a couple of nights
Hold on, I
ago.
thought it was in concrete now that Liverpool are going to get into the top 4.
Who said that?
I don't know. Who was
You,
that?
Alex.
What I said was...
No, not what you said. You said it was
I
concrete.
expected Liverpool to cement themselves.
No, you said it was
And I think I
concrete.
still do. I think Liverpool will
It's
finish
not
4th.
disrespectful to Manchester United and Chelsea and Newcastle.
You keep putting Newcastle in the conversation. With that away form, I don't see them as in the conversation for the top
Eddie
4.
Howe's your mate.
There's no disrespect to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've not got any Newcastle gigs coming up, have you?
I have actually.
You know what? He doesn't go that far anymore.
Doesn't he?
Won't go up there.
I am. The ref's taking me up there for the Premier League darts launch.
If someone's paying you to go to that, that's different. If it's just a regular shift, you won't go up there.
But you think Newcastle's injury problems maybe at the back? Livermento's out, isn't
And
he?
the fact they're such a different team away from home as they are at home.
Very strange.
I thought they played really well on Wednesday night, and if they can replicate that sort of form away from home, just dig out a couple of results. Remember last year, though?
And the centre-half mistakes or...
Well, there was a little bit of that. But there's high pressing. What about the high press?
Yeah. But that second mistake, what's the defender doing?
But what about Harvey Barnes' goal, where he bullies his way past the defender and smashes it in the bottom corner?
Has he
Brilliant.
got a decision to make, by the way, Barnes? Scotland or England? Has he still got a chance?
He's not going to get an England squad.
Why not? He's doing better than Gordon.
Actually, you say about Gordon, there's a lot of Newcastle fans. I was listening to the sports bar driving home from Chelsea in midweek, and they, even though he scored, they're not having Anthony Gordon.
It's something that's quite prevalent, actually, when you're in the North East. They sort of talk about the fact that he hasn't really lived up to last season's heights. He's playing on the left-hand side. A lot of them want to see Barnes play in that position.
12 goals this season, Barnes, all competitions.
He's been absolutely superb. But then Gordon doesn't stop scoring in the Champions League.
But he's not scored a goal apart from a penalty in over a year in the Premier League.
As you know, Gabby, though.
Crazy.
You've got to put those penalties away.
Do me a favour.
Well, it's just,
I would have been 100 club if I took penalties. End up with 74, did I?
Why did you take penalties? Did you bottle it or?
Yeah. The keeper's not big in that goal, mate. I'm telling you. I took one in the reserve game against Celtic at Villa Park, and I missed.
He can't talk about penalties.
Oh, right? What? I missed one penalty out of about 100.
No. We were playing a game in Portugal. Was it my stag do?
Here we go. You had about 7, so it probably.
And he takes a penalty, right? He hits it so meekly. I think he's still rolling towards the goal now. 5 years later. Honestly, it was the worst pen I've ever seen.
That penalty shootout went to a double round. I scored the second one, by the way. And
nobody remembers that.
And I think he missed his second.
No, I didn't miss.
I think he did.
FA Sam contact pens. Wow.
Well, at least I stood up and took him, Gab. Not like you. Crap myself because I missed one in the reserves against Celtic. Outrageous.
Gareth Barry was very good.
Yeah, he was.
And James Milner. Bentley was good at pens as well.
All the people with real
Benteke.
mentalities. That
Yeah, you know, yeah. I was getting a breather, doing all the running defensively.
Oh, yeah.
all the tracking back.
Let's hear from Eddie Howe, because he's been talking ahead of the weekend game against Aston Villa, and he's been talking about what we've just been mentioning about Anthony Gordon.
I think it's one of those things that some just random things happen in football. I think he could have easily scored in the Premier League. He saved his goals for the Champions League. It's a strange one to work out how and why these things happen. I've been pleased with his contribution, I think, for a while in both competitions. I think he's consistently hit the physical levels that we ask. I think he's consistently hit the attitude that we need. So I've been pleased. I still feel there's more to come from him. I think he's an outstanding player, and I think he can deliver great things for us, whether that's creating goals, scoring goals himself. So I still feel there's more in there for him. But he's really committing, and I think he's really trying, and he's really trying to help the team in lots of different phases. The goals are always the things that everyone else will focus on. But I was pleased with his return on Wednesday, and hopefully it's the start of a good run for him.
That was Eddie Howe speaking about Anthony Gordon, the difference between his form in the Champions League and in the Premier League.
We were just talking about the game in Paris, because you've been quite bold about Newcastle's chances.
Bold about
you think they'll win?
I said yesterday on the Premier League All Access podcast that I hoped that they won, and they sent a message to PSG after what happened last time. I think they will be fired up, Newcastle, to go to the Parc des Princes and get revenge for what happened 2 years ago when they were dumped out of the Champions League by spurious refereeing.
Totally agree.
Which ended up giving Paris Saint-Germain a way back into that match, which was ridiculous, right at the very end. And I think they'll be fired up to go and make.
They'll be fired up, but I think it's a very tough game.
Of course, it's a tough
PSG need to win, don't they?
They did fail to win
at least the point,
didn't they?
Yeah, but they need to win to be guaranteed top 8. But Newcastle, if they go there and win, it'd be a fantastic result, and then they finish in the top 8. So great game. Going there last season with Aston Villa. Ooh, what an atmosphere, by the way.
Did you actually go to that one?
I did, yeah, as a fan.
Oh, did you?
I paid my own money for my ticket as a fan.
Did
you should try it, guys. You can go and watch Portsmouth play. Your team Portsmouth, Crook here. Your team Chelsea, I don't know why. Why is that?
What do you mean, why?
Why Chelsea? Were you born close to Chelsea? Or?
My whole family comes from Battersea, yeah.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Does it?
Why you get the coffees?
But yeah. But I'm that old that Battersea wasn't like that back then.
Back in the day.
Tsimikas, will he come back from Roma? One of my friends, one of my contacts just said to me that they think he might come back from Roma because Roma aren't too enamoured by him.
Now that is interesting. That is interesting. And that might facilitate Robertson to Spurs.
Well, there you go.
Very good. Good work.
See, a little bit of
a young apprentice.
There you go. I'll help you out, Crookie. Don't worry about that. I'll give you a few stories. In fact, I've done quite well for you over the last couple of weeks, haven't I? Helped you out, haven't I?
I'm waiting for Gabs to use his contacts to tell me who Villa are going to sign.
Harvey Elliott is not going to play for another Premier League club this season.
He gets all the credit, doesn't he? But, there's a few other people just feeding
behind every great man and all that.
Making sense. Yes, Battersea.
037. Shut up. 0371722 33 is the number. 44 is the number to call if you want to get in touch. You can WhatsApp us. You can voice note us. You can send us a text as well. It's 81089. It's the Crookmeister, me, Sam Matterface, and the Gab Father till 1. saw this yesterday, but Gianni Infantino caused a bit of a stir when he sort of tried to make a joke about British fans at the World Cup in Qatar. Obviously, trying to sort of lay into sort of old lazy narratives about English fans being hooligans. Yesterday, when he was doing an event about addressing concerns around the staging of the Summers finals in the US amid rising domestic tensions there, he told the World Economic Forum in Switzerland how there had been a lot of critics before Qatar 2022.
All started rolling and the magic started, and it was a wonderful, wonderful World Cup. We had virtually no incidents. For the first time in history also, no Brit was arrested during a World Cup. Imagine, this is something really, really special. So it was a celebration, it was a party, and the next one in United States, Canada and Mexico will be exactly the same. People, they want occasions to meet, to come together, to spend time, to celebrate. And this is what we try to give them.
Yeah, don't give up the day job, fella.
Bit of a prat, isn't he?
In response to FIFA's president's comments, the Football Supporters Association said, while we've got Mr. Infantino's attention, we'd like to point out that rather than making cheap jokes about our fans, he should concentrate on making cheap tickets. It was a bit of a lazy stereotype, that wasn't it? From sort of a year of bygone years. I mean, can you imagine if someone had made a similar joke about a similar nation with a cliche?
Well, he's done it because he knows that English football supporters and Scottish fans as well have been the most vocal in terms of the astronomical ticket prices that FIFA have set for this World Cup. So it's a little bit of point scoring from Infantino.
Yeah, but he also knows that they're the teams that are followed the most
but he
on
doesn't
all
care
of the
about that.
tournaments. Well, I bet he does, because he wants them to spend the money on the tickets.
Yeah, but he doesn't care who spends the money on the tickets. That's the whole point about it.
But if they're one of your biggest markets, it seems a bit odd to try and sort of offend them, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you go back to Qatar, and obviously we were in a privileged position of being there. The only countries that really had fans follow them in number were Morocco, Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico to a certain extent. There were a handful of England fans there compared to what you would expect to see at normal World Cups.
No one's going to go to Qatar with the rules and mess about anyway. Everyone was frightened.
But he has an unbelievable ability.
I think actually people were over frightened.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Because
there was a lot of scaremongering.
There was a lot of scaremongering going on, and it wasn't anything like as bad as it was made out to be. And the same with Brazil. Listen, I always say this about World Cups. When we went to Russia, we've been to Brazil, we've been to Qatar. All of those tournaments, if you went up into the build-up, look back at some of the headlines in the build-up to them, it was always a story about how it was going to be like this, or it was going to be dangerous for this reason or that reason. But when you get to a World Cup, a country doesn't become a country; it becomes World Cup land. It's completely different. The eyes of the world are on it, so everything is just treated in a completely different way. Qatar's different during the World Cup than it is to what it's like outside of a World Cup. So it was Russia, quite evidently. And I'm sure parts of Brazil are the same. And the USA will be no different.
I would like to know who writes Infantino's speeches, because every time he opens his mouth in public, he either makes himself look a fool or he manages to alienate a huge swathe of supporters. I mean, we were there in the room when he came out with that ridiculous speech at the start of the Qatar.
How much do you get for those speeches?
Honestly, I could do a better job than whoever he does employ. But, yeah,
tickets are the main thing, aren't they?
This World Cup is not about the fans. This is going to be the tourist World Cup. They don't care who takes the seats inside the stadium, as long as the stadiums are near to capacity and people are paying ridiculous prices. He's not interested in what England.
Well, actually, what he said is that FIFA had received more than 500 million requests for tickets during the most recent ticket application window, which ended on the 30th of January.
Who are those requests from?
Well, interestingly, he's going to tell you. The second cheapest tickets cost $4,185,000 for the final. Only a tiny percentage available in the cheapest $40 category, funnily enough, leading to intense criticism. But this is what he said in response to the moans and groans about the ticket prices.
This is something and the tickets are not cheap. The tickets are not cheap. We were hammered. I was hammered, I should say, because of the ticket prices, because they are so expensive. And the main critics were from Germany and England, of course. Now, number one in ticket requests is US, number two Germany, number three England. Because everyone wants to come and to participate.
So in answer to your question, Where are those ticket requests coming from? England, Germany, and the US.
I mean, which section of society?
Well, that is the problem, isn't it? It's not for people who have been following England around Europe in the build-up to it, which is what we've complained about, and we've had the FSA.
But don't you think it's life in general? How expensive life is in general now? And you could go and look at a holiday. Okay, it's very expensive.
Well, you try to go to a concert.
But it's gone up. It's gone up in price. Oh yeah, but the resort's full. Do you know what I mean? Or the flights are full because people will still pay it. The ticket prices are extortionate. £4,000 for a ticket for the final, but they will go. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're FIFA,
if England gets to the final, are you going to pay for a ticket?
I wouldn't pay. No,
you wouldn't pay to go and see.
I wouldn't pay
no matter what.
Because I'd work. No, I'm joking. No, I'd pay a certain amount, but I'm not paying ridiculous prices. But there's so many English fans out there that will. That's the problem. But the hard-working, normal bloke who's been following England for 20 years, he's been priced out of it.
And even the ones that they made available, only because we all made a massive, massive fuss, and we were a big part of that FSA campaign when the initial ticket prices were launched, they're only covering 30%, 40% of the most ardent followers that follow England around the continent, going to all the qualification games, all the friendlies, picking up those caps, which are the loyalty point scheme.
And I think you said in your Crook a few weeks ago that there would be probably a lot of fans that live in the United States or America, English fans over there.
Well, of course there will be.
Go to their tickets and go.
In terms of, you mentioned about the fact that he was talking about the amount of games and the amount of tickets that have been sought after. Are you confident there's going to be all sellouts throughout the course of the tournament? Because he says he is.
Probably, because I think if they get to a situation where the stadiums are not going to be full, they'll probably bring the prices down.
So a bit like the dynamic pricing at the
Yeah.
World Cup. They'll just start dropping the prices down so that people feel
because empty seats is a bad look at any
some
sport
poor
event,
games
isn't it?
though. There's going to be some poor games to go and watch. Are you going to pay £150, £200 for England to play against Panama?
I think that'll be full.
Yeah, people.
The England games will all be full, won't they?
No matter who they're playing.
No matter who they're playing.
I mean, it depends who Donald Trump actually lets in the country, doesn't it? Come the start of the World
Sorted
Cup.
your visa yet, guys? Is it all come
Mine's
through?
done.
You've got yours, haven't you?
Mine's
I haven't
rubber
done
stamp.
mine yet. Have you done
He
yours?
hasn't replied to me yet, Donald. No,
you're not going.
Did
you write him a letter?
Who's going to
as well,
reply
like
to you
you
first,
did,
Donald Trump or Howard Webb?
Exactly. No one replies to my emails. Don't get it.
Do you send them to the? Do you actually put stamps on them?
I actually put an address here. For Howard Webb's one, I'll put the address for talkSPORT to reply. No replies come.
Great show, guys. Infant, not Infantina, as in infant. Yes. He is ridiculous with his comments and probably only made them because he's in Trump's pocket, says Paul and Kent. Come on, that was funny. Let's be thick-skinned about it, Mike the Englishman. Cal says, today I am a comedian. Right. Do you remember when he said that? Was it?
Today I feel gay.
I feel gay. Today I feel Qatari. Yeah.
It was mind-blowing.
And another wonderful moment of oratory from Gianni Infantino.
Get the mic off him.
Get the mic off him. We'll talk Tottenham next. This is talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
He might not fancy Villa's Premier League top 5 chances, but Unai Emery is dreaming of yet another Europa League title.
We can feel here in this competition. We are trying to get another way with those experiences, being strong and competing until the last moment. And of course, I am dreaming to be here getting trophies, and Europa League is one objective we have this year.
The win in Fenerbahce sees Villa through to the knockouts with a game to spare. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest are looking for another striker. The injured Igor Jesus missed the defeat at Braga, which leaves Forest 15th in the table and facing a February playoff. Now, it doesn't sound like Thomas Frank would be keen on losing Mickey van der Ven anytime soon.
He's fit, he's strong, good defensively, he's growing as a leader, scoring goals as well. And he's a very important player for us this season and for the future.
That's after we heard Spurs had slapped a £100 million price tag on Big Mickey. We understand, meanwhile, that the Saudi Pro League bosses are planning a big summer transfer blitz to boost the competition's profile. Mo Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Vinny Jr. and Robert Lewandowski are all wanted, but we're told reports Wrexham are about to break their own transfer record to sign Angers striker Siddiqui Sharif are rubbish.
Yeah, we're looking at lots of different players at the moment, but yeah, to say that we've launched a £92 million bid, I'm not sure that's 100% correct.
You can catch up on that chat with Wrexham director Humphrey Kerr on our YouTube channel, and we've got Derby versus West Brom in the Championship live on talkSPORT 2 tonight.
talkSPORT, it's Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and the Gabfather. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. Tottenham Hotspur Spurs have lost 3 of the last 4 in all competitions. They've won just 1 of their last 6. They've won just 2 of the last 13 Premier League games. They've picked up only 10 points, and only Burnley, Wolves and Bournemouth have won fewer since the start of November. But how much of a reprieve did Tuesday night's victory over Borussia Dortmund give Thomas Frank? Alex Crook.
Well, I think we know more after this weekend because as much as that was a great win, the form in the Champions League has never been contentious, is it? They're pretty strong in that competition, especially at home. Dortmund had a player sent off pretty harshly in the first half. I appreciate Tottenham were well on top by them, but it's the Premier League form that needs to improve. And you were quite disparaging of Burnley yesterday on our podcast. I think you said this is pretty much the easiest fixture that Tottenham could have at this moment in time.
That's not disparaging. What I said to you is if you're Tottenham Hotspur, you should be targeting winning away at Burnley. If you want to be considered to be a Champions League team, which Tottenham do, then amongst your easiest trips of the season are trips to Wolves, West Ham and Burnley. But what are the other easier trips?
What, 2 wins in the last 13 Premier League games?
It's not disparaging. It's Burnley is fighting against relegation. If you want to be a top team, you have to go there and win.
The irony is he's mates with Scott Parker. Imagine if he didn't like him.
I hope he's listening.
I've got a Burnley coat as well.
But 2 wins in the last 13 Premier League games, then that says everything, doesn't it? That
I don't think it'll be
a tricky
easy.
game.
I don't think it'll be easy for Spurs.
I totally agree. Carl Walker against his old club as well. But
I don't think it'll be easy for Spurs, but this should be a trip that they're targeting to win.
I agree, but they need a result because after Burnley, it's Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Arsenal. Like, it's a hell of a run for Spurs. They could easily lose all 4 games.
And actually, some of those are at home, which is even worse than being away.
Exactly. You'd rather them all away, wouldn't they? But we have to call out their injuries. Bentancur, Bergvall injured in midweek. Could be long-term. Kudus is long-term. Maddison and Kulusevski still out. But it was good to get Solanke back and scoring.
He's made a big difference. And just having that focal point at the top end.
Was it
Solanke?
Focal?
Focal.
Okay.
But he did. He made a massive difference in terms of the press as well. But they're going to have to manage his minutes, aren't they?
Yep. Get the physios to come and dictate to the manager. Thomas Frank, only 60 for Dominic. because of his injury issue.
Spurs have lost players to injury, I think, for the second most days to injury behind Newcastle this season. 640 days Newcastle, 625 Spurs. That shows you how much of a problem they've got. 8 first-team players missing with Kudus, Bentancur, Richarlison, Ben Davies, now Bergvall picking up a serious injury. You mentioned Solanke, but he's only just come back and he only started for the first time in midweek.
It's a big loss,
big thing. But let's have a look at the overall picture. Thomas Frank has won 7 of his 22 Premier League games in charge. Of all of the 18 managers that have looked after Spurs for more than 22 games, only Juande Ramos and Ozzy Ardiles have got a lower win percentage. That will be of concern, won't it?
100%, and he knows he's got to get that a lot better.
But how much is that down to him and how much is that down to what they've been doing over the last few years?
Well, what baffles me, though, Sam, is that Champions League, they can put in such good performances, like in midweek against Dortmund.
Yeah, but again, that shows the strength of the Premier League to the rest of Europe.
No, I know, but also is it, okay, we can lift ourselves to the Champions League because it's an elite competition. We're not going to be playing in it next season. But you can't lift yourself for the Premier League games.
I think the positive for Thomas Frank is if the hierarchy were wavering, and I think there is still some board level who believe a change of manager is needed. What that performance did show right from the off, because they were at it from the first whistle, is that the majority of players are playing for the manager.
Yes, and that's surely a good thing. I don't think that changing the manager is going to change too much at Spurs, because I think the problems are a lot deeper than just what's in the dugout. However, they need to start putting wins on the board in the Premier League quickly, because as much as they've done a very good job in the Champions League, you can't spend another season in the bottom half of the Premier League, can you?
And they're not going to win the Champions League, are they?
They've got to play European football. If you're in that stadium, if you're trying to attract players to make you better, you've got to be playing European football.
And didn't they get knocked out of the FA Cup? Crookie, was that right?
Yeah, lost at home to that small team in Birmingham.
Aston Villa. Well, can we also talk about 10,000 seats empty midweek?
That's because we've been talking about excessive ticket prices, so it's only fair to Tottenham fans.
Fair? 10,000 fans don't want to go to a Champions League game?
Ticket prices are extortionate.
No, they're not. They've reduced the prices for the Borussia Dortmund game, as they did for the Aston Villa game, where it was £30 for a ticket at the Aston Villa game and £10 for children. And they did a similar process for the Borussia Dortmund
But
game.
originally, a lot of people didn't buy tickets because they were too high.
Maybe. But there is also a little bit of apathy that's going on as well, I think.
I think for a Champions League game, you're not a club that plays Champions League every season. You will definitely not be playing it next season. You're playing Borussia Dortmund at home in the Champions League. I look at Aston Villa last season. You couldn't buy a ticket off someone. Never mind.
Actually, I was in a taxi with a guy called Andy going to Villa Park on Saturday, and he was saying to me he loves watching Villa, but he can't get a ticket for love nor money now. And he has to try and borrow someone's season ticket, but he can't get it transferred over to where he goes. So he ends up watching it in the pub.
But Spurs fans are in Champions League but don't want to go and watch games. Very odd.
It'd be interesting to see how they get on against Burnley. Burnley themselves they've become dogged, haven't they? But that's really about the limit of their ambition. They're not going to stay in the Premier League.
No.
They signed anyone this window?
Not yet.
No. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? Because they're in need of some reinforcements. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the ownership believe they're going to stay up. No, that's why they.
I watched them against Aston
Villa.
Villa.
Even their checkbook closed
at Villa Park, and they played 5 at the back, but it's still so easy to get through them, even with a 5. Poor defensively for me. Not enough going forward in the midfield. Manchester United game a month ago. They've done okay in that game, but that was
United
a poor
had 30 odd
Manchester
shots.
United. But
it's amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? They've kept 3 clean sheets over the course of the season, bearing in mind that last year they were absolutely fantastic defensively. They just can't translate it once they step up.
It's the Championship and the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's a massive goal.
I still think that even if you're... but when we were talking last year about Burnley coming up, the first thing everyone said was, well, maybe they're defensively a little bit more resolute this time. I mean, you were guilty of saying that as well. The fact is that we all thought they would be more robust. The fact that they're not is quite scary.
I'm not sure, really, they've been any more competitive than they were under Vincent Kompany.
Well, do you know what the odds are on them staying up?
1 to 100?
No, they are 500 to 1 on to make an immediate return to the Championship.
Yes, I see that. If you just look at their goal difference, I mean, conceding 42 goals, 1 more than Wolves, but 2 less than West Ham. But they're not scoring enough down the other end. Swansea, I was at Villa with him, decent, but not really the Premier League level. Carl Walker doesn't.
You were still playing when?
And Swansea come to Villa. Yeah.
How many years ago is that?
I don't know, mate. But he was on loan at Villa.
I'm not sure about the boy in midfield either. Ugachukwu wasn't brilliant at Southampton last season.
They bought him from Chelsea for a lot of money. Actually, do you know, it was quite interesting. Actually, they bought a couple of players, didn't they, from Chelsea? They took Armando Broja from Chelsea
again. I mean,
last season, which was a surprise. Beginning of this season, which was a surprise.
Injury prone, bad mentality. Doesn't score many goals. Apart from that, brilliant signing.
I'm not sure he's got bad mentality. I think what he's got is
you speak to the coach at Southampton.
He's got a penchant for picking up an injury or two, and in fact, he picked up what looked like a serious injury when we were in Tirana for the England game against Albania, and he was ready to play at the weekend. I mean, sometimes he's sort of...
Can't have been that serious thing, can
exactly. Sometimes he looks a little bit like the histrionics take over.
Don't you look as well at the bottom clubs and see what players, if they go down, when they go down, will get a move to the Premier League next season? Could you name one out of the Burnley side?
It depends which ones West Ham fancy.
Yeah.
Because they always buy players that...
Would you say anyone from Burnley would you want to sign next season, a Premier League club? I know Wolves, you'd have Mane. He looks like a bright young player. I wouldn't mind him at Aston Villa.
Marcus Edwards, would you take a chance on him? Probably not. He's been to Sporting Lisbon. He was at Tottenham Hotspur. He's probably about that level where he is right now.
The rest of the squad is Championship level.
I think Wolves have got better players than Burnley.
Yes.
It wouldn't surprise because Rob's made Wolves more competitive, harder to beat.
Premier League.
They don't score any goals at home. They've scored 10 goals at home. They haven't really got an out-and-out goal scorer. I think Zian Fleming has got 5 Premier League goals this season. Jaden Anthony's got 5 Premier League goals.
He started well, Anthony, didn't he? But then
he's faded.
Fell away. I was just going to say, it wouldn't surprise me if Wolves can actually finish above Burnley.
Well, you said that before, actually, didn't you? I think on the Premier League All Access podcast, which is, but which would be a damning sort of indictment of what's been done there. So, after you telling me that I was out of order for suggesting that it should be an easy trip for Tottenham, not that I said it was easy,
because it's Spurs,
easier trip. You think, like I do, that this should be a trip where they get all 3 points.
But we're in a last man standing competition, aren't we? I think we're up to 115 people. This is the first week. I don't think anybody's picked Tottenham.
Yeah. The problem is, Sam, you don't know what Spurs are going to turn up. Sometimes Spurs turn up as if they've got Jamie O'Hara in midfield. So you don't know what Spurs are going to turn up on the weekend.
He's a top player.
Average.
This is because he had a little pop at you.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, you think I'm getting him back?
I think you might be getting him back for that because he said if you weren't able to run as fast as you could, let's hear from Jamie O'Hara.
I think there's some people here who need to pipe down. Right?
What do you mean?
Well, Gabby Agbonlahor for one.
What's happened? You're not falling out with him again.
No, I haven't fallen out with him. I love Gabs, but he is Mr. Touch Tackle. All right? I played with Gabby throughout the years, played against him, played with him.
Yeah.
All right? If he wasn't quick, he would be in League One.
I know, but that's part of what he had under the bonnet, isn't it? That's part of your makeup. I mean, okay, let me ask you this, right? Michael Owen was rapid.
Yeah, but he could finish.
Yeah, but Michael Owen, if he wasn't quick, he ain't getting in behind in Argentina. He ain't scoring that goal. That's part of his makeup. Yeah. You can't just say, if he didn't have a great...
Okay, but Gabby, the low block this season, mate, in the Premier League, I don't know if Gabs can... For me, Gabby would struggle. Because his link-up play is not the best.
Oh, what are you saying? Second touch of tackle?
Yeah, well...
I don't know, I'm asking you.
I'm just saying.
Second touch, no red kick.
It is.
I don't, I'm asking you.
It is.
You have got one thing in common with Jamie.
What?
You both lost a couple of cup finals.
Yeah, we have, yeah. But one thing we haven't got in common is I made over 350 Premier League appearances. He made 34 appearances in total for Spurs, 19 for Chesterfield, 14 for Millwall, 26 for Pompey, 14 for Wolves.
Some of those Pompey ones were in the Premier League.
On loan. Then there was 41 again for Wolves. Blackpool, 27.
That wasn't
Fulham, 37. Gillingham, 2. And Billericay, 4 goals in 47.
He was the manager at Billericay.
Wasn't Jamie in that Wolves team when they threw their shirts into the crowd to the Wolves fans and the Wolves fans chucked them back?
But he's a good lad.
He was a very, very useful player at certain times for his teams.
He had a great left foot, but he couldn't run. Do you know what I mean? I had a bad left foot, but I could run.
Where did you play with him?
Under 21s, yeah. He got, I think, got 2 caps under 21s.
Well, he did.
5 minutes.
You got quite a few, didn't you?
Yes, you know.
Did you lose your passport once on under 21 duty?
I've
heard a whisper. I've heard a whisper from a talkSPORT colleague.
I might have, yeah. It happens. It happens quickly.
To be fair,
so you couldn't travel. Could you?
To be fair, I'm going to be honest with you. My brother is sitting in the control room. He's come over from North Carolina. He's lost his phone, a scarf, a pair of shoes, and a coat already. He's only been here for 10 days.
Wow.
Yesterday, he got in a taxi and left his passport in the car.
You're joking.
Serious. What an idiot.
Has the taxi come back and give it him or not?
In fact, could you go out there and give him a little bit of advice, please? Because you're obviously
losing your passport.
Well versed in passport
Passport's
losing.
the worst. I remember when I lost my driving license. I had to take my passport out.
How can you lose your
I lost my driving license. So when I was in Vegas and Miami, I had to take my passport out for ID.
Okay.
So nervous all night. Where's your passport, please? Passport be in your pocket still. Don't lose your passport.
How did Piercy react when you did lose your passport and therefore couldn't travel?
PC
doesn't suffer fools.
PC had to go with me a lot. Yeah.
Did he?
If you want to bring up me.
Well, listen, I'll be honest with you. First day, Declan McCarthy was one of our producers who comes with us to all the big games across the world, whatever. His first ever game as an outside broadcast producer, he was an hour and a half late.
Pardon?
Let me tell you this.
Oh, piss.
He's an hour and a half early and has been every single day since. I'll tell you the commentary team that day did include Stuart Pearce. That's all I'm saying. This is TalkSport with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
trip to South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Well, I tell you what, you're going to need your passport if you want to go to South Africa next winter, because, as always, the Barmy Army will be out there when England return to South Africa, and they'll be there in full force, and you could be there as well. We're giving away a week for two at the 2027 New Year's Test in Cape Town, every day of the match at one of the world's greatest cricket grounds, with flights, hotels, spending money all covered. All you need to do is text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call Ocom. So for your chance to win, text 83338 right now. One man's treasure is another man's trash, and it's very difficult, isn't it, if you're a player who has to come in from the cold. Under Enzo Maresca, there was no Raheem Sterling, no Axel Disasi. Liam Rossignol, though, has been talking about Disasi coming back into the fold.
My decision on Axel, I had a really good meeting with him a couple of days ago. Wanted to catch up with him, see where he was in terms of his career. I said to the players, it's one thing saying things, it's another thing living that. I said to the players when I came in, it's a clean slate for everybody. So it was only right for me to have a conversation with him. Really good conversation. I got to know him really, really well. And it was the right for him to be back involved with the group. Because of the situation he's been in, he's behind in terms of his fitness, his match fitness, and we'll keep working with him really, really hard to get him up to speed.
Raheem Sterling was also part of that bomb squad. He is not back in the fold, but Disasi is. Is Sterling going to move, by the way?
I'm not sure. Fulham seem to be advancing on Oscar Bob, so that might close that particular avenue. We know West Ham were keen to take him on loan, but he wasn't keen to go out on loan. I think he wants a permanent move and really wants to stay in London, so his options are limited. I do wonder how much Axel Disasi is really back as part of the fold. Is this just Chelsea to try and gem up a bit of interest in this January window?
Does he have the authority to bring him back?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Depends, does it, like Rookie says, maybe you bring him back involved and you get him involved in a couple of squads, and then does that raise the fee if you want to sell him?
Have you ever been involved in a bomb squad?
I was part of a bomb squad, yes. Di Matteo, for some reason, after we got relegated to the Championship.
Cracking manager, though. Won the Champions League.
Did he, or did the players win it?
I think he won the Champions
League. Okay. Sure.
Big call in the final.
John Terry and the top players won it themselves.
John Terry didn't play in the Champions League final.
No, I'm on about the whole competition.
Oh, right.
Okay. But, no, Di Matteo, it happened to me at Villa. He, I've done the whole pre-season, and like 2 days before the first game of the season, calls me to his office. I'm thinking he's going to tell me, like, you're going to be playing on the left or as a number 10 or as a striker. He says, okay, we want you to go to Rangers or Reading. And I'm like, good for you. Yeah, but I'm not going anywhere. And then...
You fell out with him?
Yeah, literally put me in the bomb squad, and then...
And what does that make you do? Did you train harder? Did you try hardest to get back in the team?
You're so low. It's not about trying hard to get into the team, because you're training with the kids.
So you know that there's no chance.
Oh, yeah, no chance. No, when you're in the bomb squad, you're away. And so the manager gets changed, you're away. I remember saying to him, exact word to him was, I'll be here longer than you, mate. I think he lasted 14, 15 games, and Steve Bruce coming.
Why were you so convinced that was going to be the case?
Because he was a dreadful manager.
But why were you convinced, as you sat in front of him, that you would wait it out?
Because
rather than go off to Rangers and Reading and play first team.
Because I didn't want to.
Because some people would just go, right, do you know what, the doesn't fancy me, I'm going to go off now.
100%, but...
Was it a wages thing?
Villa was my club, and also I was part of the fault I was getting relegated. So I wanted to sort of make amends and try and get the club back promoted. And also I didn't want to go to Rangers, didn't want to go to Reading. So I wasn't going to be pushed out of my club.
How long were you in the bomb squad for?
A couple of months.
Were you professional during that time?
2-3 months. Probably not, no, because you're training with the kids. You've got hungry, like 17, 18, 19-year-olds who are flying around, and you're depressed, you're low, you're getting megged by 16-year-olds, popping it through your legs. You know, you're just at an all-time low, and that's exactly what Sterling will be going through, Disasi will be going through, so many players will go through it. And I know you'll get people like Simon Jordan, you're getting paid so much money, get on with it. I would love to be paid that money to go and sit and train once for an hour a day. But the other players in the first team, they don't want to speak to you because they feel like, oh, if you speak to someone in the bomb squad, is the manager going to be upset with me? So you're sort of all away from everyone.
But the big difference here is that obviously it was the manager who decided to put you in the bomb squad.
Yeah.
In the case of Chelsea, it's a manager acting under instructions. Certainly when it comes to Raheem Sterling, we're pretty strong on that.
Yeah. So under Maresca, you think it's not
Maresca sort of basically sat down with Sterling and told him the week before that it was going to be a big part of his plans, didn't he? And then on the Sunday, named the team sheet, weren't in the squad.
Yeah. Look what you're paying Sterling. He's not played since when?
Well, it's the best part of millions, a season and a half now, isn't it?
Millions you're paying him.
£300,000 a week.
So just do nothing.
You wouldn't mind that gig, would you?
I would go back into the bomb squad for freedom. It was great. It was great there, Crookie.
I tell you what, if you don't stop being the vocal point of this show, you might
talkSPORT bomb squad.
You might be in the bomb squad with us. Thank you very much, Gabby. Have a good weekend. We're looking forward to seeing you next Friday. Crookie, I'll see you on. I'll see you this
afternoon.
This afternoon we're going out, but I'll see you on Sunday for Game Day Live when we're around the grounds from the Emirates Stadium. Live commentary tomorrow, West Ham Sunderland. Make sure you're with us for that. It's an absolutely huge one for the Hammers. H&J next.